Oh no, what happened?
What?
Well, Shazam, this is kind of funny, but the Bricklink version is giving me grief. Okay, well, I will have to fix this the hard way. So I can fix indirectly. So, everyone, I'd like to introduce Jordan, Master of Ceremonies, 306 Bricks. And
Hello, everyone.
He's got a great cast of characters today to join us on the stream while I'm doing some troubleshooting on our actual Facebook feed.
Just let me know when you're ready to go and we can start bringing people in.
We got one more.
We got a few questions, so we're ready to go. We have a special guest at the end that's seems very excited to jump on, so we're very excited to have him. He'll be on probably the last 15 to 20 minutes. Just used to be a seller, but now mainly focuses on not being a Bricklink seller, so it'd be nice to get his input on as buying and selling on Bricklink.
Okay, so we are indirectly streaming in our group. Facebook has decided to take a crap on our group. Isn't that funny?
Oh, my.
All right. So
we're ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
First call out.
So first person we're bringing onto the stage is from somewhere in Quebec that I cannot pronounce the name of this town or city. His name is Vincent Martin. He started a store back in 2021, Brie, Quebec. He has 10,964 parts and 5,017 lots. Hello, Vincent.
Shazam.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good evening.
Good. Our next on is Chris Little from Tisdale, Saskatchewan, home of beloved comedian Brent Butts. He started a store back in 2020. His name's Littletown Bricks. He has 14,745 parts and 2,998 lots. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Hey.
Good evening.
Third on the docket is Jen Canvin. Started her store back in 2004. She was from Nanaimo, BC, or in that area. And her store name is the Brick Chick with 1,198,984 parts and 4,150 lots. Hello, Jen.
Hello.
Good evening.
And last but not least, I can't make fun of him because he got mad at me yesterday, Tyson Lemke from Edmonton, Alberta. He started a store back in 2016, Leopard 37. He has 329,101 pieces, 15,748 lots. Welcome, Tyson.
Hey.
So, welcome everyone. Sorry, we don't have a round of applause we could do every time someone came on, but Rick's working on that for next time, I think.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I caused 3 copyright flags on just the little clips I grabbed. I was checking it earlier, and literally in 5 seconds, I was getting flagged. So,
oh my,
the algorithm was working against me.
That's never good.
No.
Well, it looks like we're starting to get people flooding in. So I thought I'd start stuff off easy. We'll go into the hard questions second because it's the probably most anticipated question. But I thought we'd go around and each of us can tell or talk about why we started selling on Bricklink or Lego reselling. I know other people on the stream do other selling other than Bricklink. So I thought we'd just start off. So start off with Vincent.
Yeah, so during the height of the first big pandemic, like I was starting to just get crazy at home, working from home, like every day just working, and was getting too much. Didn't know what to do, so I just bought a lot on the marketplace and listed it on Bricklink, and that started it all, you know.
Do you collect as well, Vincent?
I do a little, but I'm still in the process of looking for a house, so I don't have much place at the moment. But I do collect a few, especially mocks. I I collect the Star Wars ships that are in scale with the UCS Star Destroyer.
Oh, okay. Okay, Chris, Littletown Bricks.
Yeah, so I've kind of always enjoyed buying and selling things. I used to do vehicles and houses and Sea-Doos and quads and stuff like that. But After I got married, I moved to Saskatoon into a little townhouse and didn't have the driveway space to do those bigger ticket items. So that got me into Lego. I pulled out my childhood sets and started playing with them a little bit and going, let's start buying some of this stuff and see if I can actually sell it and make a profit. So that's kind of how I got into the Lego thing. And then when COVID hit, I wasn't able to do the trade shows anymore in person. So I decided I needed to take my selling online, and that's where I got on Bricklink.
And you collect as well then?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I got quite a bit of a collection. So
I've seen
the selling is just to kind of fund it a bit.
Yeah, I've seen the collection. It's quite large. Yes.
Yeah.
Tyson, how about you?
So I have two older sisters, and they're 10 and 12 years older than me. So I had nieces and nephews that got my toys. And one of the nephews, my sister, gave back all the Lego at a certain point. So I had 8 Rubbermaids full of used Lego all of a sudden. And a friend of mine was an assistant manager at the newly opened Southgate store at that time here in Edmonton. And he's like, "Have you heard of Bricklink?" I said, "No, what's that?" And he showed me, and I started listing Bionicle pieces, and people actually bought them. So that just got me down the rabbit trail. And then eventually I figured out that I didn't know the grays and all of that. And then I just started buying sets and parting them out. And then in COVID, I'm an engineer. I got laid off, and for a year, Lego funded me. And then I just recently, this last summer, decided to stop engineering full time and focus on the store 100% of the time.
So are you in your current store right now?
I am, yeah. I can
Okay.
do a tour later on if there's time for that.
And you have a warehouse, right?
Yeah, it's just a room, but yeah,
Okay.
essentially.
And do you do any collecting as well?
Yeah, I focus on. I was doing the Technic cars, but there got to be too many of them. I just do the Creator Expert cars, and pretty much most of the brickheads. There's a couple that I didn't get, but I've got a lot of mock brickheads too. There's a great store in England that sells custom, and they're called Custom Instructions. They do some amazing ones. They did a bigger Hagrid and a way better Ahsoka and that sort of stuff.
I find Brickheads is like the most underrated Lego theme out there. Like you get
Some of them are
figure,
really cool.
and you get the build a set. I love Brickheads myself, so I agree with you 100% there. Okay, Jen, last but not least, why did you start Bricklink?
I didn't want to go back to work after I had my first kid. So in 1999, I bought her first Lego set. It was really for me. But that's when they had the Star Wars license. I didn't know what Lego was prior. So that was new. So I got her really crappy set, 7146, I think it was. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to stay home. I did not want to go back to my job as a carpet designer. And so at that time, eBay was getting to be a thing, and I had someone teach me how to use it. So I started on eBay, and then eventually a guy who used to be a pretty big seller in Canada, Mike Shields, he's like, Jen, you've got to move to Bricklink. You shouldn't be wasting your time on eBay. So that's when I started in 2004.
Okay, and do you collect as well?
Only the things I can't figure out how to sell. Now, I'm a hoarder. I don't know how to collect it and not want everything. So I try to satisfy myself by having it pass through my hands.
Well, I can tell you this right now. Every Lego reseller or collector has the issue of having too much. I have bulk is something I think everyone has, and a backlog is something everyone has as well. So,
yeah.
So I thought we'd get to the probably most boring question / hardest hitting question that majority of Bricklinkers are going to be asking and are curious about. Now, I'll give a little background to kind of what the question's like. So in August 2020, the EU started collecting VAT fees. So VAT fees are taxes virtually, and it again was going against the buyer, not the seller. So the people who are getting charged the taxes were the buyers. And then in September 2020, it started in the States as well. Some states did it previously, but then every state was moving on to that. Now, in Canada, I believe in November 2022, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, let me know someone. I think it was November was the first year where it did it. But we were getting charged GST on our fees only. There was no tax gain put against the buyers and no tax gain put against the sellers unless you wanted to charge a fee through your Bricklink as a percentage or whatever in the extra fees. Now, I know we have, like Jen, I believe you're full-time, and Tyson, you're full-time, right? So you guys obviously do collect taxes as being full-time. I'm not implementing anyone, but some people don't, because they're a hobby shop and whatever other rules there are out there.
If I didn't have to, I would not. But
Exactly. And I want to say this to everyone. We are not accountants. We talk to a licensed professional. We already discussed this in our chat. Don't take our word as the gospel. Like listen to someone who's way smarter than, especially me, in taxes. So the others maybe, but me for sure. So I just thought, I know Tyson, you were really adamant on this one, so I just wanted to see you want to jump in and start off.
So it's what the rule, and I know this because I looked into them when I had to sign up. So they may have shifted slightly within the last 2 or 3 years. But if you're gross, that means including your shipping, including everything that you've charged, gets over $30,000 in 4 consecutive quarters. So that means the government wants you to keep track of that total every quarter and total it up. If it tips over 30,000, then you're required to start charging GST by the end of the next quarter.
So is it $30,000 every 3 months or $30,000 in that year?
For a year.
But making up in the 4 quarters.
So the last quarter drops off as you gain another quarter, right?
Okay.
So it's always just the last 12 months, but they want to do it as a quarterly as opposed to a monthly.
So with the doing that, does that say you're a part-time seller? Like I'll use me as an example. I also work a full-time job. So does that $30,000 also include what I make in my yearly salary?
No, that's $30,000 of your own income for a particular business.
Okay.
Now they say if you've got a business that you charge GST in one business and you create another business, you're automatically supposed to start charging GST in the second business.
Only the businesses make, not if you actually work for a different business.
That's right.
Okay.
So it's not including a salary that you work for somebody else. It's directly from the sale of goods. And I think myself, it's not just my Bricklink. It's my BrickOwl, my Bricklink, and anything I sell anywhere else, I throw into the total. So I'm not trying to cheat anyone. And the provinces have different rules. So here in Alberta, there's only GST. HST for Ontario and for the Maritimes is covered under the GST. So you're supposed to collect the different percentages for those and submit them along with your GST. So essentially the rest of the country is funding Ontario and the Maritimes extra tax. Oh, that's an interesting point, I think. And then Quebec has their own rules. Saskatchewan has their own rules. Manitoba has their own rules. And BC has their own rules.
So what about
Saskatchewan, interestingly enough, is the worst out of all the provinces, Jordan. They say if you're a Saskatchewan resident and you bought something out of province, you were supposed to voluntarily pay the Saskatchewan tax when you cross back and use it in Saskatchewan.
I would like to see them
That
catch
is
as many people.
the ballsiest statement I've ever seen in any legislation.
So what are the tax differences for the territories at all as well? Do you know?
Well, they're just GST.
Just GST, okay. And when you're referring to charge, you're meaning you don't have to necessarily charge a customer that buys something from you. It's just what you have to pay for the government, right?
No, you're supposed to get the buyer to pay it.
Okay.
And I mean, you can. I know of a couple of Edmonton sellers that say that they're collecting GST and then taking it out of their cut. I don't know how honest that is.
Okay.
That's what I do, and I'm very honest.
I charge on top of the price.
Because so I look at this might ruffle some feathers on either watchers or you guys, but when I look at stores and I see extra fees, not necessarily taxes, I understand taxes, but if there's a packaging fee or something like that, I sometimes skip over those stores. And the reason I do that is because just put it into your price of your pieces or into your shipping. Like I don't think that I have a friend who has a store and he's like, I'm not getting as many sales. It's because you charge like a dollar fee for bubble mailers. Bubble mailers, what, 10 cents? The
Well, depending
stamp.
on what they're 20 now, but
Okay.
My husband found a way to pay $1 for them in bulk. So yeah, don't look at me.
Yeah. And so with you brought up a different point there too with BrickOwl. Do they do anything to charge? Or I don't use BrickOwl myself. So with
they have
BrickOwl,
a much nicer system. They can once you enter in your GST number, they automatically charge the provincial taxes because they've got it programmed in.
That's awesome.
Okay. That's better. Anyone else?
So it's way smoother because I have to build it into my shipping settings.
Okay.
On Bricklink, so people choose which province they're from, and then it changes the percentage for them.
Huh.
Okay. And anyone else want to jump in? I know, Chris, you were pretty interested with this one. I remember you and I had personal conversations about when this was getting implemented. So I was wondering what your thoughts are.
So as far as that goes, now Bricklink said they're going to start collecting. Sorry, you're still muted, Chris.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all. We just see head shaking.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh.
Okay.
Can you try now?
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Go for it, Chris.
No, I was just saying, I'm just here kind of learning as much as you guys are on this right now. And when it comes to the fees and stuff like that, I got the same mentality as you, Jordan. I don't like charging a bunch of extra fees for packaging or to make the buyer cover off the PayPal fees, stuff like that. So I've just got that worked into my pricing when I list my items. And then there's really just the shipping fee on top of it, like every store basically charges. That's it.
Because, yeah, like my biggest thing that I was wondering about, and again, you and I, Chris, talked about this, is when you look at the GST that we get charged on our fees through the Bricklink fees, does it go by each store and by each person, or is it just one lump sum Canadian Bricklink GST that got sent to the CRA? I don't personally know that. I don't know if anyone's had experience discussing that with Bricklink, but once you look on the downloadable fees sheet, it doesn't say that, right? So I don't know, Tyson, do you know anything about that at all?
No, I wish we had an Ontarian here to see whether they were charged 13% or instead of 5%. I hope there's some Ontario store in the comments that can comment on that.
Well, here, what?
Or an Atlantic Canada that got charged 15.
What, Vincent? Do you know what Quebec's tax percentage?
Quebec is 15%.
It's is that what you got charged when you look at my fees on Bricklink and it says the GST HST amount?
I could go see.
I'm just going to my bill
over, but I mean, I don't have to charge Quebec tax because I don't go over 30,000 within Quebec.
No,
That's
and I wasn't
rule.
referring to that. I was just referring to the what we're getting charged actually. What when it says GST on our Bricklink fee summary.
Well, and technically, if we're collecting GST, Bricklink's not supposed to be charging us.
Yeah, and so that was one thing also confused me is why, and why is it just on our fees we're having to pay it on?
Yeah,
But they're getting started. Like, do you guys get the newsletter thing that they send out? That lame-o thing that says they're going to be doing all this stuff that they don't actually do? It's
I don't sign up for any Bricklink newsletters, to be honest.
Yeah, so they did cover it. But I think they're just ramping up, and this was the first thing they thought they could implement.
Okay. So
I think they're trying to get some heat off of them because they do have to legally start collecting tax. So
Zen Forever, I see your question there. We are actually going to be bringing that up in another question here right away. So stay on and watch, and you'll be able to see. But I noticed, so I just looked at mine and I divided it by that, and it's actually I'm getting charged less than what the 5% is of.
Yeah, I only got charged $8 for a month or whatever.
Yeah, it's just on our fees. That's the only thing that I saw.
Yeah, they're not collecting on all your sales. That's coming. They say they're going to implement that because it's Canada law that they're supposed to be.
Okay, so we just got confirmation from 3Gen Bricks and Max Brickhouse that in PEI gets charged as 15 and Ontario gets charged as 13. So it is province per province.
They're not following the provincial rules then. right?
So, but I'm curious now.
Because Jen probably didn't get charged her BC tax, and they're
Um,
probably not submitting BC tax. So they're not
No.
following the province's rules. They're just doing the federal government GST rules, which encapsulate Ontario and Maritimes.
And that's something that, like, I don't know if I know there's like forums. Obviously, as for me, I'm a very small fish in a big ocean, but I know it's definitely an issue that's happening that I think it's scared a lot of sellers. And I think a lot of people might have jumped out of selling because they're like, oh no, I have to pay taxes. I'm just a hobby shop. I can't afford to do taxes as well as actually make a coin just to sell a set or a figure or whatever. So that's I know
It's a royal pain in the butt.
you've said your issues with Bricklink, and I think that's one thing that I definitely hasn't improved since Lego's bought it is the transparency and communication about that stuff.
Well, they promised to implement it 2 years ago where they were charging GST across the board. And I mean, I would love it because then everybody's
level playing field.
Yeah, because why would somebody from Atlantic, Canada buy from me when they're automatically getting charged 15% more compared to Chris or Vincent?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think it's going to hurt us more in the long run. Because I think right now there's a lot of hobby sellers that when they need a little bit of extra cash flow, put their stuff on way discounted just to create some sales. And it hurts the bottom line on the bricks. And then
I've been battling this for like so many decades, you guys. Like, I've always been slammed for having high prices because I always had to pay the tax. I've always made more than 30K because it was my stay-at-home entrepreneur job. It's like, for me, I can't wait for them to implement it. It's less crap for me to have to handle. And
but if they're already doing that, putting on sales when they're already at a price advantage compared to us, Jen, imagine when they've got the tax tacked on to their buyers. They don't have as good selection. They're going to put their stuff on even bigger discount to get sales.
Maybe, but they're also going to get frustrated and maybe
stop.
I don't know.
So I don't know if you guys watch any other YouTube bricklinkers, but I know that was a discussion too. It's like race to the bottom, right? That's the one thing they always say, race to the bottom. And that's one issue that I've found with the community, as well as a good community it is. Like, it's still an issue that people sometimes will just drop their prices just to get the sales. Sadly, we can't really do anything about that.
No, it's a free market.
So. But then there's people like there's a store, I don't mean to call them out or anything, but there's like that Dylan's free shipping or whatever it's called. His prices are nuts. Like, they're like $100 more than what it's worth sometimes, or but you still get sales. So you gotta it's a complicated.
He followed that Portugal stores model.
Oh my gosh, I hate that store.
Sorry, what do they do?
If you've got a wanted list, essentially they've got every piece. So what they do is they'll go out and they
buy from other bricklinkers.
Yeah. So they'll buy from other bricklinkers so that they've got the market, so that the rare pieces from Brick Bank, that door that is hard to get, or the 1x8 sand green bricks, they're the only ones in the world. Anytime anything pops up, they'll buy the people out of the rare stuff, and then they end up jacking up the price. So they essentially meet your wanted list the best, but it ends up being 400 times more expensive because
it's completely against the terms of service.
So Rick, that story I was talking about wasn't a drop shipper, but I don't really actually see that much different than compared to, say, a lug member who's also a Bricklink store, or someone who I know people who analyze Bricklink so hard that they know what bricks are more popular than other. So that's all they stock themselves into. They'll buy massive quantities from Europe or whatever just to fill their store to be specific on those set pieces. But that's just...
Yeah, and if that works for them.
No, and it does. I don't really see it any different than that. Like, I know you and I have had a discussion about slug members owning Bricklink stores, and that to me is a very, very hard one. You know what I mean? Lug members, it's kind of a conflict of interest, but it still can happen. So I know Rick loves Yellow Spaceman. So that's all I know. But anyone else got anything else on taxes, or do you guys want to move on to the next one?
I don't know. I had lots of things when you were talking about it. Now I can't think.
The only thing
I will say there's lots of different rules. I mean, lots of different rules. PST rules in Ontario versus BC, which are the two provinces I've operated in. And I'd take Ontario's rules over BC's rules any day. So, yeah.
Vincent, sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to say is when I looked at it with my accountant in Quebec, they said that, like Tyson said, over 30K you got to collect taxes, but over 10K also you got to declare it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only difference.
That's one of the interesting things I was thinking about when you guys were talking about this is that, like, having been doing this for such a long time, there was such a difficulty for me in even convincing the CRA that I was a business. Like, for the first 10 years that I was operating, they did not want to see it as a business at all. And it was a real headache. I don't know if things have changed, because to me, if they're going to start collecting tax on every hobby seller, like, that's kind of weird, because they're basically grandfathering everyone in as a business. And I don't know how that's going to fly. Like, honestly, it was very hard to convince them that I was a business.
I think accountants in general have an issue with filing taxes for resellers. Not necessarily just Lego, but even, like, maybe not cars as well, because they are bigger ticket items. But say someone has an eBay store who goes to Value Village or Goodwill and resell stuff. I've talked to a couple of accountant friends, and they're like, I have no clue how to submit any of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And the bookkeeping's miserable.
Exactly. So I think it's a problem for a lot of resellers. Obviously, we're worried about more of the Lego community because that's what we are. But still, it is definitely a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
my
we got
sister's CA. She's a chartered accountant, and she helped me out. She's a forensic accountant. She actually is in charge of making sure all the chartered accountants in Alberta follow the rules. So in Alberta, anyways, you're supposed to claim any income you have. So that means you find a 20 in the parking lot of the Safeway, you're supposed to claim it. Now, not all chartered accountants will say that's the way it is, but that's what she's told me. If you're supposed to be honest, the government wants their cut of everything.
They do.
See, what I've been waiting for is, I know PayPal was supposed to do at over $600. You get reported to revenue. I know it was in the States. I don't think that's rolled out in the States yet. I know a couple of people who do reselling in the States, and if you hit over $600 on your normal PayPal, it might be doing that. But I don't know if that's yet active, and I don't know if that's going to hit Canada. It's we play a very
that triggers you've got to actually have a business PayPal and provide them with certain information, and it'll just lock your PayPal account. I hit that very fast when I started selling.
So Wake Me Up Now just asked, what do sellers do when you buy used bricks? I've seen people with other used items do, like, as you know, Jen said, receipts. Like, she just wrote herself a receipt, like, I paid $100 for this bin from this person, just so you have some type of paperwork. But it really can vary.
You can't claim the GST on that, though.
No, because it doesn't have GST to begin with. But
you bought stock.
Yeah. So are you guys ready to move on to the next one, or do you want to keep going? Okay. So the next question is, I was wondering what items in your store make your life easier, and like, what is your store like? What how technologically savvy are you? Are you just basic drawers, numbers, that type of thing? So I'm going to ask, I'm not going to ask everyone the same question. I'm going to kind of keep it so we can ask as many questions as we can. So I thought, Vincent, I would ask you this one first.
Could you just, like, precise what the question is?
So what in your store makes your life easier for picking, packing, organizing parts type thing?
Oh, I know. There's something like just little clips that makes life so much easier. like when you're going through deep bins, and I use a lot of separators. Sometimes I do my own separators in the bins. That makes life a lot easier. And I'm using the Kallax shelves from IKEA with the Drona bins. Those are really useful to stock for my when my drawer is full. Like I just empty it in a Ziploc and put it in the drones, and then it's all numbered. If I need extra of this brick, it's in this drawer. It's super easy. And as for technology, I really like the Brick Store app.
Okay.
Uh,
So have you found issues with it? I was talking about this yesterday with another Bricklink store in Saskatoon here, and they say that everything gets put in as American prices, even the 6-month average, whatever. So,
no,
or maybe that was brick stock they were using. Never mind.
no, I have
Does
no
it go
issue with
Canadian
it.
prices?
Yeah, it puts it in Canadian. There's no problem. It's linked by Bricklink. The only issue I have with it is since I run on Chromebook, I had to emulate a Linux computer and download the Linux version on my computer. Like, I had a tech-savvy friend do it for me because that was way too complicated for me. But, but so yeah, it's not supported by Chrome or Android. But on PC, I used to run it on PC before. That's super clean. It's super easy to use.
Okay. And Jen, I also wanted to. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, it makes the pricing like just so much easier because you can do it automatically, and then you just round up things, and that saves so much time.
Because so for me personally, I don't use any software. I am old school. I go through Bricklink. My used parts, I usually do the same part, but in many different colors. So I just keep backing, change the color, change the price, move it up type thing. So I'm a little Stone Age that way. But Jen, I wanted to get your input on this because you said you weren't technologically savvy.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm a technology whore, if you want the truth. But I'm very stuck in my age-old ways. And Brick Store, back in the day, I think there was wasn't there a period of time where it wasn't supported? Maybe you guys are all too new to this whole thing, but I believe I used it at the beginning of time, and then it got dropped for a long time, and then I've not gotten back to it. And it scares me. I used to usually have 2 million parts in my store. That was my happy place. And since then, I started another website, so I've split it into 2 different sites. And it just scared me because when you have a big, ungainly kind of inventory, it's just, I don't know, I'm scared. Okay, so yeah, if you want my favorite technology right now, it's my counting scale. I couldn't live without that little beast.
Have you found issues? Have you found issues with that counting scale with
always?
Newer
Yeah,
PC?
they need to be calibrated if you breathe heavy near them. But mine will go down to like minifigure hands and whatnot. I don't know how many of our counting problems have to do with the scale. I think it's more my husband who puts everything in little piles of 5. It makes me nuts to watch him. So yeah, no, the counting scale, I usually count off in hundreds or thousands. And then the last few that you put in, you kind of count those in by hand. So the last 5 or 10, you count them in by hand and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. But yeah, I like it. Okay, that's awesome. Technology. For my storage, I'm a big fan of IKEA, just like you, Vincent. I invested in Ivar shelving when wood was cheaper, much, much cheaper, and Samla bins, which I just went to IKEA last week, you guys, and like the bin that used to be $4 is $20 now. I don't understand what's happening. So I'm not buying bins forever. Now I've got to just keep using the same ones I have. And I live and die by Ziploc bags, like zipper top bags. So
picking for you takes a little longer, right?
I would say so, but it does just because you have a freaking huge inventory. I am a person, I'm a little slow to load. I'm slow in a lot of things, but I'm slow to load things because I do try to group elements together. So when I do a parts load, it's like right now I'm in the middle, I'm in plates hell. So I'm just putting up new plates, and I've got like 30 Samla bins full of plates that are going up hopefully in the next few days. And I keep similar elements together because I find people shop for the same element in multiple colors in my store often. So usually it's a matter of pulling 1 or 2 bins out and you do a nice chunk of an order. So it can be faster. Just
that's why I noticed before I introduced everyone, I looked at everyone's stores to see their part count and their lot size. And I noticed you obviously have the highest part count, but your lot size is a little lower on that. And I assume you go for more bulk of one type of part then.
I fell into my inventory because I started this business and painstakingly parted out every set, and then, kind of went to work for the company for a while. So I just kind of mothballed everything because you weren't really allowed to have a store, and sold off a lot of the good stuff. Like, I still have all the crap stuff in the basement, and that stuff is actually really expensive now, so I have to get it out. But yeah, no, my inventory is very eclectic. I earned a lot of it being kind of a contract employee for the company. And it's really, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I bought some Lego for the store, I'll be honest.
Oh, wow.
I'm taken from my backlog.
Okay, so I got the next question. As I said, I'm going to ask everyone a couple of questions, or a question, not everyone the same question. So the next one is actually for everyone. Earlier today, I asked you guys to go and look for a unique piece you just found or you've had for a while, or something that you very much enjoy as a piece finding and having, and show it off. So I thought that would be a good way to show kind of our personalities in a sense as a store as well. So Chris, I thought we'd start with you.
Oh, we can't hear you, Chris.
Chris, your mic.
I want all of those. I've sold all of mine.
It says Tisdale Internet, I think.
Yeah. Saskatchewan sucks. Sorry.
You mean SaskTel, sorry. Crown Corporation, that's what we have here.
Saskatchewan, I don't really mean that. Well, I kind of do.
Working, Chris?
Just collected all of these Chrome
Okay, there we
Star
go. I think you're good now.
Yeah, SaskTel. I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yep, I agree with you. Collection of the Star Wars figures. I like everything that is shiny. So those are the ones that I kind of picked out here quick for you guys to take a peek at.
Oof. Awesome, those are great. Is Vincent, do you have a piece? Oh, you're muted, Vincent.
Yeah, so it's actually this TIE Fighter, custom TIE Fighter from Dirac. It's just like the connection are just so amazing in that set. It's just like crazy and smooth all around. I just love it to death. That's what made me fall in love with custom instruction sets. And I just haven't really gone back to real sets since.
Customs, I find, usually are better than the actual real sets sometimes.
Yeah. Like, the only real sets I have on display at the moment is the UCS Slave one. That's over my head. And BD1.
Yeah.
And that's it. All the rest are custom box. Oh, also the new dioramas. Those are pretty cool. Like the trash compactor, Jedi training on Dagobah. Those are pretty nice. But apart from that, I'm just into customs.
Nice. Tyson, do you have a piece with you or a something?
It's actually for sale.
Oh,
Ooh, very nice.
the shameless
Both of
plug.
them
I like it.
Are immaculate. It's actually a commission sale.
Uh-oh,
And
Rick has to chime in on this one. Oh, no.
That is a sweet piece. Everyone knows. I made a small fortune on that one. That is a beautiful piece.
collector in Winnipeg bought it in a bulk for. He bought I don't know. I think he paid $18 for all of it, and that was in the pieces.
Very nice.
And I'm selling it for him. He's a relative of a friend, so. And this piece, I used it in the Vespa. This kit is from a Super Mario set that I recently parted out. And it's green, but I love this new curve.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that being in more sets going forward and adding some detail to some stuff because I think that's going to work really nice.
Jen, do you have yours?
Yeah, I do, but I didn't do what you guys did. Mine's not real Lego, kind of like it is, but I didn't want to go and dig something out of the office, so I just took something out of my display case in the other room.
It could be an accessory.
Yeah. Well, this used to be Lego, and it's by one of my favorite artists. And he had been doing, like, I'm not going to show you until I do my little spiel. So there. He had been doing this kind of like what's inside of toys kind of shtick for his artwork for quite a number of years. And so he had done a Lego minifigure as if it had like bones and blood and all that in it. And someone said, you really need to do one that's like with a Lego skeleton in it. So he did, and he sells the prints. Like, that's how he makes his money. But he sold off the prototype. So I have his original art piece. I don't know how to do this. There we go. So this is Jason Freeney. He's an American artist, really cool toy explorations and so on. And this is the Lego skeleton inside a Lego minifigure flashlight dude.
That is actually really cool.
It is really cool. It's one of my prized possessions.
Oh,
I think that is very, very neat. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, he stays in a very special cabinet with all my nice stuff.
So mine is a minifigure piece. I was just looking through bulk, and my wife grabbed this figure, and I don't know. It's probably a pretty common piece, and a lot of people have sold it. It's probably not even worth that much, but it's a scarf.
Ooh.
I just think it's kind of neat. Like, again, I played Lego as a kid when I had M-Tron and Blacktron, and they had nothing like this. Like, even the textures and the tassels and everything. Just find it a really, really cool piece myself. You know, if someone's cold on a winter, scarf always helps out, right? So, okay, Chris will be back. He is just having some internet issues, so he is going to be fixing that. So this actually question is from Chris. He wanted to ask this one. I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to need your guys' help. If you know the answer, put your hand up, just so we don't talk over each other. But so Chris's question is: when a Bricklink store blocks a buyer, does the buyer ever find out? Do you not show up in the search thing? Can they not check out of the store? Can a buyer still send messages to the store? Does anyone perhaps know this? Vincent?
Oh yeah. Well, it happened to me once. Like, I blocked a buyer because he didn't pay for the order and all the yada yada. And a few weeks later, he said he could not check out of my store. So I am assuming he could still create a cart, but couldn't check out. And I actually ended up unblocking him and let him order. He paid. No problems on that transaction. But yeah.
Okay.
So assuming
I have a different view of that. I have blocked a store that I can't stand. And I have to say, it's a beautiful thing to no longer see their crap in my feed when I'm searching for things. So
I agree 100% with you there, because I have blocked a couple stores that I do not want to deal with as well. Not because of the store themselves, but because of the person. Well, it does feel good. Tyson?
I wonder how many people have blocked me. No, the buyer, if they look at their settings, so it's different for the buyer than for the sellers. The sellers can't see who's blocked them.
Okay.
So the stores don't have a list of people who've blocked them. So that store can't tell that you've blocked them, that you're so excited about. But the buyers have a list of all the stores that have blocked them if they go into their settings. But usually the buyers that end up being blocked aren't savvy Bricklinkers in the first place. So they probably couldn't find it in their settings if they tried.
So if they say liked your store and add you as a favorite, but then you block them, can they still go to your store and physically, but they just can't check out then?
I apparently with Vincent, I thought you didn't show up in their searches, but I guess it's not like that.
Okay.
I don't think you show
so
up
it just
in
frustrates them
I think
further.
that's true.
Which is
you
silly.
don't show up in searches, but I think that like your buyer, Vincent, came right to you.
Yeah, maybe he came because he came back for the same set. Like, he had bought a set And then I said I made the non-buying alert thing, and then he came back for the same set.
Okay. Okay, Chris, does that satisfy your question? Oh, I don't know if you can hear us now.
Poor Chris.
Still no mic. No, it's okay. So I, maybe we could do a test for this one time and report on it. I can get Tyson to block me, or I can block him again, or something like that, and figure it out from there. No, I'm just bugging. So it says here, Zen
I'll
Forever.
gladly block you anytime, Jordan.
So it says, how do you block a store? I was blocked by them, and then they took my money and didn't send me the items. I did eventually get my money back. So how can I block them so I don't see them in my searches?
The favorite.
Yeah, it's, you put as a dislike. And
Yeah.
then when you do your, say, wanted list search, you just click don't show me the disliked ones. I
That's
believe
right.
that's how you do it. Okay. And then I know with also, what was it? Oh yeah, I lost my train of thought there. But let's move on to the next question. So this is for the.
Can I say one thing about this blocking thing? Because I just looked something up just for kicks.
Go for
So
it.
although I can't see who has stop listed me, 5 sellers have stop listed me. And I've stop listed 34 people. Does that make me a bad person? Do I want to cry?
Can you send me the link to see how you can find how many people stop listed
My
you?
activity. Have you ever found my activity overview? If you go to my Bricklink, it's one of the hyperlinks at the bottom, and it's fascinating and scary, and it makes me feel sad sometimes because it lists all your bad stuff, people that have favorited you, but people that hate you too.
Oh,
So,
I feed off that hate, so I'm fine with it myself.
no, not me. It hurts me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check everything you posted and all that kind of crap too.
So here's the next question. This is for BrickOwl people. I am not a BrickOwl person. I don't know who is. Whoever is can chime in and ask. So with BrickOwl, do you see more sales on BrickOwl or Bricklink? And then what would any suggestion or tips for a Bricklink store who wants to also have a BrickOwl store? Just some interest for people, as I am interested as well. So Vincent, do you have a BrickOwl store?
No, I don't.
Okay. Jen, do you have a BrickOwl store?
Technically, yes. Nothing in it.
Okay. I actually am technically yes, but nothing in it as
Why
well.
not secure your name? Like,
Yeah, that's all I did was secure my name. That's the only reason I did. Yeah.
Like I told
tell you why
Marshall,
you
you
don't.
guys just need to activate it.
So
yeah, but the problem is, Tyson, is that when you're a really big store, you can't afford the services that will synchronize
The
your sales.
free
And there's
syncing software that's
good
out there.
internet for the what's that?
The free syncing software that's out there that
It's fine, but why
automatically
do you have to
adjusts your
consider-
inventory in both stores. That's
Isn't
too
that
much to
one
handle.
where you have to have like your computer on at home all the time? Because I'll tell you, we're out of power like once a week here, so that doesn't fly
wow.
for me. So I have to use a hosted service, and they don't want me. I'm too big. I take up too much of their damn server to run through all my sales. So it's kind of
Really?
poor little rich girl problem. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that sounds like that's the case.
I'm not
They
rich.
do have, there is paid services that have cloud service now for
Yeah, but can you? I
On
can't
the-
afford
on the
one
other
for
side.
sales. I'll be
hi,
honest.
Paul.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if Chris is coming back or not. We'll see. Here.
So
He's been
I
having
think
Tyson,
it
go ahead.
used-
It's your BrickOwl.
it used to be about a 60-40 split. I think it's more of a 70-30 now.
70 to Bricklink, 30 to BrickOwl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And how do you like? I know you prefer BrickOwl because it is more user friendly.
Yeah.
But how do you find it? Picking orders, anything like that? Is it good?
Way better.
Way better.
You can pick all of your orders at BrickOwl at the same time. You can create a picking list that color codes everything. So you can put stuff in it if you want it. It combines orders automatically and still gives you a list. So like the Bricklink batches, if you're using your remarks for where your stuff is, you have to pick each batch separately. In BrickOwl, it'll give you all of those orders together with all of their remarks sorted, no problem.
Okay.
It gives you analytics on your sales for the last year, for the
Nice.
last since century.
Oh,
He just added an inventory chart so you can see where your inventory is trending. It's hands down, it's like 10 times better a website.
Who's the guy that runs that? Is his name Lawrence, I think?
Yeah,
Or
he lives in
something?
England.
He's
Yeah.
fairly responsive too, which is so
Oh,
nice.
if there's an issue, it's like fixed within 24 hours. That
Aw.
and like that's like the max, and that's like a major, like he needed to bang his head against the wall to figure out what was going on. Like
Yeah.
little issues get fixed like that.
We will get on BrickOwl one day, but I need to hire a full stack developer first, and I'm not rich enough for that right now. So
Well, I mean, there is syncing software out there that's like I don't know.
I
You
think I
can
need my
weigh it.
own though, because
So
I've got
if
my own website and Bricklink, and then adding BrickOwl. So I think I have to do it solo. It sucks.
yeah, I've there's talk about there's one developer that's got a syncing software on the chat. If you look at the forum on BrickOwl, that he's trying to build in eBay, so it might get to that point. I've got a Square site that I
Have you
run
used
now.
Brick Freedom at all?
No.
Okay, so Brick Freedom, I think, is a UK based one, but a lot of American sellers that I watch sellers on YouTube. Just I find their tips could be helpful sometimes. Use the Brick Freedom sometimes, and that one looks a little. But it's, again, you pay a fee, a percentage, I believe. It actually includes your shipping on that percentage too. That kind of.
Yeah, I've looked at the price structure, and it's not worth it even for a store my size. So it seems like I don't know.
So I just got to go back and answer one question to sort of stop a person from seeing or from buying your store. There's a thing called a stop list. So even if you just type in like stop list Bricklink on Google, it'll take you to it and you can add a name to it.
You have to Google things to find them on Bricklink. I'm an offender.
I expect my number to go up as this forum goes on.
No, it's because he's from Edmonton. That's why. It's okay.
Hey now.
And then just a little housekeeping. Chris his internet's not working. I don't know. He's got to get Starlink out there somewhere in Tisdale, but it happens. Just seeing if there's any other questions. Pat Camp says use BrickOwl white label service for your own site. So that might be something then for your own site you could look into.
Yeah, they've got a little bit. They've come out with a new thing on BrickOwl where it's not underneath BrickOwl, so you can have your own site and list all your items. So then you could have your Bricklink store automatically syncing with your BrickOwl store and just take over using. It'll look like BrickOwl, but you could just change your own store. So then all of your inventory could be listed in once.
Okay.
Instead of keeping track of, because the white label store, I can't remember the price structure. It didn't seem worth it for the amount of sales that I generate. But
so old lady Brick says she uses Brick Freedom because Brick Sync can't be used on Apple. And then Cranland says as well they started using Brick Freedom as well. And I have seen the sales generators and it gives you nice graphs and everything like that if you're into those type of things. I'll speak for myself. I personally have not been really interested in doing BrickOwl yet because I do not have enough time to sometimes do Bricklink all the time as I do work full time as well. Vincent, are you ever thinking about doing BrickOwl or is it just kind of a wait type thing?
I'll be honest, I've never even been on BrickOwl.
I've never done anything off there either. So
yeah, like Bricklink just takes already so much of my time.
I have yet to sell an owl to increase that counter. They've got a counter on the homepage on how many owls have sold. I want to sell an owl on BrickOwl so bad, so I increase the counter.
So, listeners on here, Leopard wants an owl sold.
Raise to the bottom. Just put one at a penny.
There you go. Actually.
Oh, I see how it works.
So next question here. We'll keep going on because that special guest I would like to bring on here soon is it's going to be coming up soon. So I just want to now bring up the next question, which is payment methods. So I know we have PayPal, e-transfer after you've been on Bricklink for a while. I've seen people use Stripe. Any other? We'll get to that question in a sec, Rick. And any other type of methods you guys use for payments, or are those pretty much the big three?
I hire people to work for me and pay them in bricks. Does that count?
No, not paying people. Just I meant like you're getting paid from a customer.
Getting money.
I'm getting paid in labor, though. You don't understand.
Don't worry, that's a question coming up. It's okay.
I do get paid in cash quite a lot.
And that's local pickup then?
Yeah, for local pickups.
How do you say your town name again?
Boisbriand.
Yeah, see, I tried it so hard to learn it yesterday night. My wife was making fun of me. I listened to it on YouTube 1,000 times. I can't say it.
I told you could say either Shinywood because that's the translation, or you could say Montreal.
That's why I just said
Both
Quebec.
be fine.
So, Tyson, do you do any other methods, or are you pretty much the three?
I've got a square.
Okay.
So for the sales I run during the summer, I have a Lego sale twice a summer in my garage kind of thing, and just try and move some sets. And I find it very handy for people walking up. They go, I can pay by credit card right here. That's incredible. So it's kind of like the same method that most of if you go to markets, local markets, a lot of people have them. And they've got a free website. So I put a whole bunch of my sets on the website, and it's nice when people are messaging me on Messenger or on Kijiji, because I try and sell flip sets before I part them out.
Okay.
I can point them at that Square site and say, you can look at all of my sets here because they're all listed.
Okay. And Jen, what do you mainly use? I see your cat there's missing mom.
It's feeding time at the zoo. The
Yep.
three of them just went out to feed their dinner. I use Square. I use Stripe, PayPal, e-transfer, cash, and work for bricks.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it.
And do you guys have any? So PayPal, you have fees, obviously. I don't know what would you say your guys' percentage of is e-transfer, because then you don't got to worry about fees or anything like that. Vincent?
Getting higher and higher.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's really gone up too for me.
Okay.
Yeah, same for me. Like I get maybe like 5 or 10% or e-transfer, 5-10% cash, and the rest is PayPal.
Okay. I'm probably around the same as you, Vincent. This past month, actually, I think I was closed for half the month, but I had 21 sales, and I think I had 6 of them as e-transfers, which that's probably the most I've had percentage-wise in a month. So I think people just trust PayPal more, which I don't really get, because you've been doing, if you've been doing Bricklink for long enough, you're already you can tell by the person's feedback if you're trustworthy or not, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But so Max Brick said they stopped using Stripe and just use PayPal and e-transfer. And a couple other people just say what they use. One question that was brought up there, it kind of goes back to taxes. Are any of you guys incorporated?
I'm going to be, but I'm not currently.
Okay.
Still sole proprietor. The reason is because if I incorporate, I can go for some money for small business help.
Okay.
And that's something that has become important.
Yep.
I actually got a grant that paid for my website build. So you guys should be looking into things that we could do. So I got that thing for free. Okay, it was hell, but
See, that's the one thing I like about having the Lego community together, and us especially here, is we each have such different backgrounds of how we sell. And I know, Jen, you do conventions. Tyson, I don't know if you're big in the convention scene at all. Vincent, same with you. I personally have not done conventions yet. I've been asked to a couple of times because we don't have many Lego resellers here. But to me, it could be a pain in the butt, and I don't know if I just want to deal with it. I like some people, and I love talking about Lego, but just the pain just doesn't,
So the reason I do conventions is so I can see my friends, and that's the only way I can afford to go. So it's a double-edged sword, because you work your ass off the whole time and you don't really get to hang out with your friends, but I'm there.
Yeah, that's the one thing how I've learned about you, Jen, is I think you've done a couple of them in Saskatchewan, haven't you?
I support Slug for engraving and stuff, but I haven't managed to get out there yet. That's one that's on my list. Definitely.
Okay, and maybe that's how I heard. I recently bought from you, I think, last month. So yes. So next question, or actually, Rick, do you want to do a draw here for one of the minifigures? He chimes in.
Rick?
You might have woken him up, Jordan.
Uh-oh.
I'm here. I'm just dealing with a technical problem on the back end.
Oh, do you want to
we can absolutely do one right now. So if we do one now, that'll be first thing pops up wins it.
Sorry, what?
If we draw now, it'll be the first name that comes up wins what you're offering.
Yep. So I am going to do a couple of these Series 23 CMFs, brand new. It's going to be a random one. I'm not feeling it, nothing like that. I got a bag full of them, so I thought I'd give a couple away here. So if you have the names on the wheel, Rick, and you want to give it a spin,
yeah, I get all the current names, everyone who's active. Now, of course, I don't know how many of these are all Canadian. That's why I tried to put the rules up into the YouTube.
Yeah,
but they'll have to be in our Facebook group. They'll have to be a Canadian resident. They should be in the chat currently. And
if you message me on Facebook, it's just Jordan Kotyk or 306 Bricks is my Facebook page, and we can figure out shipping. Shipping's included in it, and it's your prize. So if you want to get the wheel going, we'll do the first one.
Okay, let me wipe this out. Since we're not doing last man standing. And so first thing that pops up wins the first prize, and you're going to reach out to Jordan, and he's going to hook you up, everyone. Pretty wheel, pretty wheel.
Oh. Nub Select.
So my first question is Nub Select in the chat? And are you Canadian, and are you in our group?
He's Canadian. He's a YouTuber, Bricklinker as well.
Is he? Okay, great.
Yes. I've never talked to him personally, but I've watched his videos, and he is, yes, I know who someone is.
I see him in the forum all the time.
All right. I'm going to pull the name out now. Remove.
Okay.
And I will, we're going to wait before you do any more. You can
we'll do another one in a little bit, and then we'll go from there. So now I actually have 3 more questions, and then I want to bring on our special guest, and I open the forum for you guys to ask questions to him possibly, or if you have questions after my last 3, we can discuss them. And he's eagerly waiting for my message for him to come join us. So the next one I do is, how do you change your prices as Lego goes up and down? Do you audit your inventory? Do you do inventory in your store? Something like that. Vincent, I'm going to ask the 2 big stores this question because I know you and me are a lot smaller. It's a little easier for us. But Tyson, start off.
So I used to go through the 6-month average. I've got an adjustment that I do for my own pricing. But I used to do a yearly, and I just have not had a chance for the last couple of years. So that was something I wanted to hear more about Brickstore, because I think it's an easier way of adjusting prices. But I wanted somebody to talk more about it as one of the other sellers. And I just came up with a method of doing inventory. So I am marking drawers and checking drawers as we speak when I get the time. I'm trying to do 5 to 10 drawers a day.
Okay. And is this something you've always done, or did you just start implementing?
No, I just started doing. I was tired of the mistakes.
Okay. Was there a lot of mistakes?
More than I liked.
Okay.
I hate not. Sometimes they're in my favor, so that I don't have a problem with it. But when somebody buys a brick, I like having it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of drawers.
Yeah, how many drawers do you have? If you're doing 5 a day, I'm curious.
Well, if I'm only doing 5 a day, it'll take me over in a year to do my whole inventory.
Yeah, that's the hole that I'm in. I try to do 1 bin a week, and I have almost 400 bins.
So
not including overstock.
I've got a lot, and I've been finding, I've noticed twice now that the update at night has removed everything I've added during the day.
What?
Twice.
Wow.
And it's been on
brick
big
stock?
days. No, the
That's
Bricklink 15-minute update at the end of the day has canceled out everything I've done during that day.
Ugh.
Wow.
Like over 2,000 lots changed,
That's
and all of
sketchy,
it's gone.
Oh,
And how do you, when it's in the drawer, how do you find that until it comes up in an order?
So,
I found I like to do retain items because it gives me I should put more of these in, because oftentimes I have more than what I show that I have. And I've been finding that this weird little gremlin error, when it says I'm sold out of something, it will then relist it like it's still for sale. And I've been caught with that one looking like a dumbass quite often. That is the sneaky thing.
So Rick asked the question: "Is nightly maintenance killed your work?" And that happened. You said twice, Tyson. To you?
I've noticed it. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
actually,
Yeah, go, Vincent.
yeah, Brickstore could save that work for you. You know, when you do some work during the day, you can do a save as with Brickstore and just save it until tomorrow. And
See, this is why I need to learn Brickstore better because
Yeah,
I'm just not
it's-
using it right now.
Tyson. That's what I'm getting.
like it's a 5 minute to learn type of app. It's super easy. It's super easy to use. It's like
I haven't
Excel
been able
on
to figure out how
steroids.
to get it back to Bricklink well.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
The only problem I have with Brickstore is downloading my it's syncing a bit in between my Bricklink and Brickstore. Like when I do my old inventory to download it and re-upload it, that can be a little rough. But I mostly only use it to upload to Bricklink. I don't
So
really like.
is that new lots that you've never had before in Bricklink?
Yeah, that's mostly what I use Brickstore for. It's new laws,
Okay.
just upload.
So
But
90% of my stuff is just adjusting quantities.
Yeah.
I never have.
Yeah.
I barely have any new lots when I'm parting out a set.
I know Brickstore can do it, but I don't have much experience doing that particular thing on Brickstore.
Okay. There's definitely something that would be nice, as either a YouTube channel or possibly something in our group that we talk about more is how to use those proper things. Now, I know some people get defensive, like, oh, why am I going to teach the enemy how to use something that will make them better? I hate that mentality myself. Sadly, as much as some of us don't like each other, we're all in this together. So we, in my mind, working together is actually just going to make it better for the community as sellers and for buyers as well. Because do you know how many times I see when I buy something from someone and the torso's cracked, brick has a chew mark in it, whatever. And you know how frustrating that is when I purposely try not to have that, or whoever does. And so that's, that is something that I get that would be awesome to see. Okay, let's go to the second last question. This one is actually from Jen. So, have any of you?
That last one was for me.
Last one actually might have been you as well. I know this one specifically is. Toons Bricks says I'm his local dealer. I don't know who Toons Bricks is. You have to use your name, and then I would know for sure. Don't know YouTube names that well. So, have you guys hired any people? How do you work out the payment? Is it buy bricks? And was it worth it having someone to help you? Now, I would like to speak on this first, just because I have not necessarily hired out someone, but I had a friend of mine who was off work for a long period of time. He said, hey, I need pieces. Can I sort your bulk? And so I gave him, I think, 5 102-liter totes, and he sorted all of it.
Holy.
He took a lot, which I was fine with. He took out all the fake, and he actually donated to his sister's school she works at. Perfectly fine with me. And he paid me actually, I think, $120 because of the amount he took out of it.
Wow.
For me, was beneficial because I am still hammering it out. So I'm wondering, Vincent, have you ever hired anyone, or is it just a one-man show?
Mostly a one-man show, but I sometimes use my dad for sorting.
Yeah.
Like you get pieces in exchange, so I'm not really paying him for
You gave him a
sorting.
bottle of whiskey, right?
Oh.
He doesn't drink, so
Oh! Or no, you guys don't drink whiskey out there, right?
no, I'm big
Wine.
on whiskey.
Wine, right?
Yeah, wine is pretty big here, but I'm a whiskey and rum guy.
Awesome. So, Tyson, have you ever hired anyone?
No, I have a partner, so it's actually two of us. So between the two of us, we managed to do everything fairly efficiently. So
Okay, and this is just actually a question off of this that is kind of, this determines kind of how busy you are. Do you guys sell more used or new? Or like, what is your, say, mix? Is it 50-50? That type of thing. Vincent, how about you?
I sell mostly used of Marketplace and Kijiji. I just buy lots, mostly figurines. That's mainly my focus. Although I've started to deal more new when there is good deal on the Lego website.
Okay. Tyson, you're what do you usually mainly do?
I try and do both. So I think I'm probably around a 30-70 split, new 70%.
Okay.
I got a big glut of used a little while back, and then ran out of drawer space in the used section and have been waiting for a sale. So this is the only thing from that glut that I didn't have room to list. And then I bought a new column for new recently so that I could add more. So
Okay.
my latest my question. I don't know whether that's the last question coming up. I'll shut up now. Sorry.
Okay, no, it's okay. Jen, I know you said you paid someone in brick, so I assume you have maybe hired someone.
I have done things of that nature, and I'm exploring it again. First, can I just shout out to Crayon Land Bricks? Thank you very much for the nice shout out. I'm going to shout you too. I find it's really hard for me to do. It's hard for like a lot of reasons. Number one is my favorite job in all of the Bricklink mess that is running a store is the sorting, and it's the thing that I have the hardest time giving away to someone else. But it's mostly because I can't figure out how to get anybody else to do the rest of the jobs I hate. So that's tricky.
Packing is the worst.
Yeah, right. Like, and for me, I'm OCD, so like the sorting part is my favorite, and it's like packing orders, unsorting, and it makes me nuts. So
I love packing orders. Actually, that's probably my favorite part.
You're just counting the money.
What'd you say?
You're just counting the money.
I don't know. What did Tyson say? I heard a little pipe in there.
Come and pack for me. You can
right.
I think Edmonton is the one city I do not want to move to at all.
We have Connor and Leon, the two.
Yeah, we also lost in the Western Conference Final to the Colorado Avalanche.
I
was there. Happens. My truck got broken into in Edmonton again. See, don't want to be there.
I was growing up in Calgary, so Edmonchuck is just evil to us. So yeah, no, I can't do Edmonton. Sorry.
So yeah, so you paid people mainly in bricks, and you never actually you guys didn't work out a formula.
So I know of formulas because I have an awful lot of friends that do this kind of thing. And so that hasn't worked out yet. It's been other Afols that have worked for me and been store credit basically is how I work it. So they place orders for whatever they want. But yeah, the formula where, you kind of sort something as fast as you would sort it and time yourself and count how many elements on that counting scale. And then, kind of use that as your rate. I've looked into it. My problem is my pool of employees is very, very small. I live on an island that has less than 100 people. And it's hard in a city to find people dumb enough to do this job. So it's near impossible to get a sea lion to do it or an otter. The whales just aren't interested. So I have a hard time finding good people.
Okay. So last question.
With me. Yeah, if you're an AFOL, come vacation on the island. Come work for your room and board.
Hey, some people don't get it. Is they don't understand fake. They think it's all real, or I've even had that where a 1x brick and it has the groove in it, and they're still putting it with the other 1x bricks where it's actually a modified. But it happens. It's just
so hard. It takes 6 months to train someone to work the job. I have had employees where I paid them real cash money, not always under the table because I can't afford to pay $20-something an hour in order to pull payroll.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been looking into as getting a bigger store is possibly a warehouse like you have necessarily, Tyson. I don't know what your store looks like, Jen, if it's in your house or you have a separate building, but
I would have a master bedroom if I didn't have Lego. So.
Yeah. And I assume Vincent and I are probably just in our house. My wife was graciously enough to give me the storage unit that you see now. There's my furnace back there. And it's not cutting in, thank God, because it's not that cold here yet.
Yeah.
So is your water tank leaked yet on all your stock?
So actually, this is how fancy I am, Tyson. I have a tankless water heater.
Okay. First, I can still.
I told everyone in my house, don't turn on the hot water because it sounds like a freaking jet engine.
Yeah.
So I had to tell my kids and my wife, say, "Could we please just not wash dishes right now?" Because while we're having this, because it sounds like a jet engine. My wife's
tomorrow.
probably laughing. But so last question, and then we can get to maybe one or two of you guys' questions, and then I got the special guest. He's getting ready to jump on. So we've kind of already talked about this a little bit, but just it could be a very quick one. So do you guys use any other type of software? I know at Brick Stockton brought Brick Software or Brick Store, Brick Freedom. I think there's possibly a couple more. Or do you guys use anything to identify parts? Do you use Google Lens? I saw that Brick Monkey is amazing for torsos.
Yeah.
I think Enzo was the one that posted on one of our groups. Huge shout out to him. That thing has been great. But I'm just wondering, what do you guys use? Vincent?
Yeah, just the Brick Store. But Brick Monkey is pretty great. I'm actually eager to see if they add legs or ads eventually or something like that, because it's so much better than Google Lens.
Oh, very much so. Tyson?
I've had better luck with Google Lens than Brick Monkey. Although I just tried it on my collectible minifigures, like to try and I've got some displays at home, and I just tried it on my personal stuff, and maybe that stuff hasn't been loaded yet because it couldn't find anything. None of the Disney figs.
Rick,
I've
you
used
jumped
it
on?
on.
Sorry?
I haven't used anything to check for any figs in about 2 years now.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Google Lens was actually not bad, and there was a few other services, but a lot of them are gone now. But that Brick Monkey, that is something else.
See,
What is
that's
that?
what I was gonna say, Tyson.
This isn't worth it either.
I have that, but
I won't speak the word. I won't speak that name.
Is that a GoFundMe
so
one?
aggressively
Yeah.
like me.
Yeah, that was a horrible experience. I promoted the hell out of that device.
Yeah.
And
It's
I was
great
one of the
idea,
few who got screwed on it. And then they screwed me for 2.5 months to give me my refund. And then I was going to expose the shoddy parts in it. And I said, I'm not going to give them any more exposure and let it die.
My camera's on an angle in that thing. It doesn't really work very well that way.
Vincent, I rudely interrupted you. What were you going to say before that? I apologize.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say about what Tyson said about newer figs, but like I've used it on the quite opposite, like old 90s, like castle and space stuff, and it works wonders. So I'm pretty sure it's just because it wasn't loaded yet in the app.
So it's just a matter of the database catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
did have an issue with it actually with an older fig too. It was like a cop uniform, but it was in like a dark gray, like the old dark gray. And I couldn't find the variant, even on Bricklink. When I found the one that was similar, it wouldn't show that variant at all. So I don't know what that was about. But
Maybe it's dark bluish gray, just yellowed.
I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know.
I think we probably all have like crazy little workarounds to try and find things in the minifigure parts category on the site, because there's no consistency, like zero consistency on any of it. It's so hard. That's why I'm so slow getting my stuff in.
Do you use any other software though?
Jen? Yeah, Google Sheets. That's it. That's like so
Google
boring.
Sheets is your friend, right?
And Jen, you said you sell used and new as well, right?
No, never. No, I sell new.
You only sell new?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. On your site or on eBay, do you sell used at all?
I don't do eBay anymore. It's all new.
Okay.
I have a treasure trove of used, but I'm so terrified if I get help pulling orders or whatever that someone's going to try and sell something used that's new. And I'll take some heat. I can't stand heat. So yeah, no, I'm just not. It'll be more expensive when I finally get around to listing it, but I have so much else that I have to list first. So
There's an interesting thing about used is I was recently again I talk too much about Lego. Let's put it that way first of all. But when I talk to a lot of different stores, because I find the community that I've had in touch with very well. I've only had issue with one person. I'm not going to name him, but that's it.
I'm right here. You can name me.
But I talk with Pat Cam Bricks in Regina, and he's Sumo Bricks. Rob, awesome guy. And that's what we were talking about was like, are the margins actually that better for used? And that's something that's very, you pay a lot less, but it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
The margin are
you
crazy.
paying less? I can't find
I don't
cheap
know.
used Lego in Edmonton anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
I
pretty
can.
aggressive out there. The marketplace is very aggressive for buying
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Because
And
everyone
people
wants
go,
one.
well,
Instead of
I can
just
sell it
selling.
on my own. And I go,
Mhm.
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure everything's there because people are going to be upset if it's not.
Rick, do you have our special guest at all available, or is no, not yet? Okay. How about we do? Do you guys have any questions you want to ask? So we'll start with Jen.
And I gotta write these things down because I
What
did.
I answered. I took your questions and I think I answered most of them. I'm just wondering if you thought of anything else during this.
No, I did think of something, but the brain is like Swiss cheese. I don't. Oh man, it was when we were talking about something.
Being in the presence of Tyson is very difficult. I know. I'm super flustered too.
I'm
One
so
that
intimidated.
made me think of it.
It's unreal.
Because he's from the city of champions, you know.
What are you parting out next, Jen?
What am I parting out next? I don't. Okay, so how I do part outs is maybe different from most people. So you know those big black and yellow big bins from Home Depot, 112 liter, whatever they are, right?
That's the ones I use.
So I have like maybe 50 of those with like, there's probably more than that. I lied. With like all my sets broken down in them, but they're brand new still. They just don't have any of the Lego plastic bags or the instructions or anything in them because I had to make things like smaller because I don't have a lot of space. So when I do a part out to list things into the store, I pick like 6 or 7 of those bins and I do like a massive sort into some Ivar, or not some Ivar, but some IKEA like cup type things. And I'll do that for like a month where I'm just sorting through all that stuff. And then I don't have to wash anything because it's all brand new. So then from there, it's sorted into large categories and then follows like a year, it feels like, of taking those large categories and getting those put into the store category by category. So I'm doing plates right now because money's tight and sales are shit. Oops. Sales are not lovely
Okay.
right now. They're fragrant.
Something we all do. It's something we all do.
It's not a kid's stream, so you're fine.
So anyway, because sales are soft right now, then I actually looked at that list that they have of like the 100 best-selling items, and I'm like, what do I have in my backlog that I can put in? And it was brick and plate, so I'm putting brick and plate in.
Brick and plate and tile. That's what sells, right?
I don't sell my tile. I print on it. But,
I don't mean to end the discussion period and the question period, but our special guest is available. But before that, Rick, can we throw on the wheel and we will do one more giveaway right now for another Series 23?
You're going to let him stew down there?
Well, we have to make pay for making it.
No, we're not going to make it. He's a very honored guest. I just thought we'd do it now just to kind of a segue into it.
All right. Hang on one moment.
Another one.
All right. So first name gets it.
Yep.
And the rules still apply. Got to be Canadian resident. Got to be a member of the group. Here we go, folks.
You guys message me on Facebook or something so I could get your address. Chris.
Wow.
Please. This is the last person I want to send Lego to. But no, so Rick, I want to do I'm going to have a little introduction I wrote just for our next guest, our special guest. So this person is a former Bricklink owner himself. He had lettuce bricks. He is one half of the, I believe, third place team in this past season of Lego Masters.
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited to introduce. He is leaving us in Canada. He is going to Billund to work for Lego. David, welcome to the group.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me. Jen,
Welcome
it was
back.
nice seeing your reaction. Jen's an old friend.
Yeah. Good to see you.
No, I
Wow,
really
I'm
want to
so
bring.
dark right now. It's terrible lighting. My God.
I really wanted to bring David on as he used to be a Bricklink seller. He is an Afol, so he does buy off Bricklink. So I don't know if he's bought
I'm
from
still
any of
buying
us.
a Bricklink.
Yeah, and I don't know if he buys from any of us. But just kind of give that person, the kind of half and half of being one or the other, or both of the things, and maybe talk about his exciting adventure going to Denmark to work for them.
So I joined Bricklink in 2008. First as a buyer when bricks were cheap, and then very shortly after that as a seller, just as a hobby to finance buying more Lego. and that grew into a much bigger and bigger and bigger hobby. I started doing shows and conventions, and the store transformed in a number of different ways. Why is Jen laughing at me? Are you laughing at me, Jen?
Vincent was spotlighted, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah, Vincent.
Oh yeah, that was good.
What's
That was
going
good.
on?
Behind the scenes stuff, you know. Whatever.
It's texting me now. Oh my god. I'm just paranoid that Jen is going to be sending me DMs to mess with me or something, because she would do that.
Well, now she is.
Yeah, you would. Anyway, so and then I sold for a long time on Bricklink as a hobby, doing smaller sales, and got kind of tired of that, and closed my store for about a year and a half, and came up with this gimmick of a minimum order of $100 and free shipping on everything. It made it worth my time as a hobby, and it also made it simple for all fees and everything. There's just no fees. Here's the price. You pay that, and I ship
But
it out.
you didn't sell parts. You were sets only, weren't you, Dave?
I did rare parts.
And figures, right?
And tons of figs.
Yeah.
I used to sell sets, and it just became, to me personally, a hassle to box up large sets to ship out. Whereas like figs, I still have them, hundreds and hundreds of these like small boxes that I would ship out for figs. Even if it was one fig, it would ship in a box at a parcel rate. It would get insured. People get it fast. Folks tend to like that customer service. And honestly, it became like an enjoyable hobby. There was never anything that was a pain in the butt about it. And it definitely financed me purchasing a lot of Lego. I've been on this stream previously. If anyone has ever seen me on any other podcast or YouTube stream or anything, there used to be a whole wall of drawers behind me, 242 and IKEA Antonius drawers. I recently dismantled that and sold them off to a couple of local Afols. As I recently got a job with Lego, with the Lego group, and I'm moving to Billund sometime in March to design those Lego sets that you guys hate buying. So hopefully buy more sets so I get a bonus.
Right.
So what is your specific job that you are getting in Billund there?
This specific job, I'll be a product designer. I don't know what theme. I have some hopes, but I'm not going to say those publicly because who knows who's watching. But yeah, I'll be designing the Lego products that appear on toy store shelves. Probably, I'm going to assume starting in like mid to late 2024, you'll start seeing my stuff. If you look like Aaron Newman from season 1 of Lego Masters, he started Lego in November 2021, and his first 2 sets have just been revealed. One came out January 1st, and the other one is the Star-Lord mask that just got revealed.
And those
I only watched your season of Lego Masters, so I would not know this.
You did watch my season, Jen?
Yours is the only one I would watch, yes. Because there were so many Canadians, hello.
So I am sorry to say, all of mine are recorded. I haven't finished them all yet. So I had to cheat and see where you guys placed because I felt
like spoilers.
Well, it's been on for long enough, so it's my fault. But so are you so you're uprooting, I don't want to say uprooting. You're advancing with your whole family, moving there.
Oh, yeah. No, uprooting is totally the right thing. Where I estimated, but before I started doing this, I probably had about 2 million bricks in the house. Most were in my personal collection, and the goal has been to sell 1 million off. I'm getting close to that. I've sold off my Bricklink inventory. I sold off my inventory that I would take to shows as a vendor, like in person. I'm selling just like buckets and bins and bags of bulk, some sorted, some unsorted brick, to locals out here. I see Jen making motions. She should come over. Like, it's a bit of a drive, but you should come over and see what kind of things you can stock up on.
I made him an offer.
We were here last week.
I know. I'm sorry.
I've been too busy. I was working my day job until yesterday, and so now I have a delightful 2 months of unemployment where my entire focus can be.
Fan Expo in 2 weekends. We're going to be there. Fan Expo at the convention center. Let's hook up.
Yeah, I know. I might make it a Fan Expo. The lug will be there, and they'll give me a free pass if I want to come. So if I'm available,
I'm actually paying to go there.
So do you find that now that you're on Lego Masters, do you find that you're more of like a celebrity in the Lego community? Do people recognize you around where you're from? Like how? Yes,
it happens. And it's the weirdest thing. I don't like to call myself a celebrity seriously. I'll do it like facetiously. But I had to go renew my passport in December to get my work visa. And while I'm at the passport, like the desk of actually getting like my information processed, the guy next to me is like, "Oh, hey, you the guy from Lego Masters?" And I took a selfie with the guy while they're getting my passport done. Like, it is the weirdest feeling.
So have you signed autographs already?
Yes, more
Okay.
than I can count.
See, I was shocked
but-
you even responded to me, to be honest.
I like Bricklink, okay? Like, I never tried BrickOwl, largely out of like brand loyalty to Bricklink, which I feel like is a dying thing among sellers because everyone talks about not having any response for anything.
They're not very loyal to
Ken,
us. So.
Ken, I know your name. Why do I know your name? I'm in Surrey. Ken, are you Lord of the Figs, Ken?
Yes, he is.
Is that Lord? Okay, I see a lot of nods. Okay, that's why I know Ken. Okay, I'm in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. Canada, of course, it's Canada. My God.
You're not going to be able to say that soon, so you better get it out now.
I know. Soon I'm going to be Billund, Jutland, Denmark. I don't know. Billund, South Jutland. Jen, if I'm pronouncing things wrong, don't tell Steven.
I won't tell Steven. I like to mock his language.
So I want to
there.
bring you on. Oh, sorry, keep going.
I was in Denmark in November, and I'm in a taxi driving up to the Lego house, and I see Steven Canvin, Jen's husband, just walking down the road, and I'm like, "Stop the car! Give me my bags! Get out!" And I yell at him out the window because that was the day. That was the day that they did these things at Lego House.
Yep, I got one. Woohoo!
Whoa.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
How do we get some of those? That looks sweet. I got the big one.
They say they're hard to get, but you know Lego, it'll probably be like overproduced in five more months. Who knows?
Are those wheels an add-on piece, or is that all in the same mold?
It's one piece. The
Okay.
whole thing is one piece. It's 3D printed, not as a mold, and I don't have it if I can.
Yeah, there you go. We can see it against your blank wall.
Yeah.
Against my
Oh,
blank
wicked.
wall. That's right.
It is
Oh, it's
wicked.
the bill. Oh, it moves up and down. That's neat.
Yeah.
And the beak moves up and down. It cannot come apart, and that's why they had to 3D print it. Is because their injection molding process. Oh my God, where am I going here? The injection molding process can't make a piece that moves like that without human assembly, and so this is something they can't make other than 3D printing.
Okay.
They.
It is kind of cool.
I gotta stop saying they.
Well, it's you now.
We.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yes,
get
we.
to bring
It'll
you
be
for
we.
everything.
We.
Yeah, I got this other weird thing, Jen. Have you seen this before?
What? Oh, I have a lot of
The
those. Yeah, those magenta plates are pretty sweet.
You are the only person I know who has more of these.
Yeah.
What is that weird stain?
I have a lot of clear
I
ones
see
too,
that.
but lots of people have clear.
It's just light.
I got my first ones of
Oh,
those.
Oh,
that's
it's
when
light.
Mel
Okay,
had it.
the sticker on the back of it. Okay. You have a lot of clear plates, right?
Mel, right? Mel is a bricklinker from way back, right? But she gave me my first one of those in whatchamacallit. What's that thing? Dirty Brickster. That's where I got my first
Oh
one.
my gosh. Somebody at BrickCon had a 48x48 trans clear base plate in the Dirty Brickster, and no one stole it. Like,
what the hell is wrong with people? That's like gold right there.
Ty Keltner unwrapped it and held it on his lap, and maybe people just didn't see that he had it, and just no one stole it, and was like, I wish I was on that circle for Dirty Brickster because I would have stolen that.
Yep.
Because those things are cool.
David, make sure that you update your brick set list of sets you've designed regularly, please.
I will have to. I've been talking to some designers that like I've been friends with, and we're talking like they refer to their brick lists on Brickset, and I was like, okay, that's something I have to update.
That is so bizarre, just so bizarre, because that is so contrary to how Lego was back in the day. Like when Steven was a designer, like it was a dirty thing to do to like kind of make yourself shine within the team because they're very, egalitarian about everything. So like in the
That's
old
very
days,
Danish.
yeah, I'm sure you guys know like the license plate stickers and things like that often have the employee's number or some kind of relevance to them. And that was like sneaky kind of shit way back in the day. And Steven has like a Duplo piece with his employee number on it. But it's so bizarre to me that like, well, every one of my friends is now a designer. First of all, like, are there any Afols that aren't? And second of all, that it's all like looking at your social media and seeing what you're doing. It's like so weird.
I figure because that's and maybe it's Steven's generation of designers, because that's like the whole like Jantes law in Denmark, where it's not culturally appropriate to brag about yourself
Exactly.
and what you're doing. Whereas now they're hiring so many international designers in the last 15, 20 years, really. It's becoming more culturally acceptable. And then even recently, I don't know this, but you have the change at the head of the family where Held isn't really in charge. Thomas has taken over. You've seen a lot of changes within Lego since Thomas took over.
Yeah. Since Thomas
No,
left.
maybe I'll find out more once I go over there.
Mhm.
So one thing I want to bring you on for is, some of our viewers might not be Bricklink sellers. Maybe they are using just to buy. So I thought bring you on as a buyer because some of us do buy, but not as often as others.
So I still buy. I use Bricklink, and I've used Bricklink again for 15 years at least, as a tool, as an AFOL. More than just buying and selling, I'll use the catalog to look up, okay, do I have these parts? What sets are they in? And when my closet had 400 sealed sets in it, I would often break them open just to get 1 or 2 obscure parts if I needed to. And just to know, like, okay, this piece only exists in one set. I'm not going to bother looking in my drawers for it. The Bricklink catalog is powerful. When I was a seller, I would also use I never used any third-party software to identify torsos. I would either just know from my own database in my head or use the Bricklink color guide as opposed to the catalog.
Right.
And like, say you're looking at a dark gray torso. In old dark gray, there's only 33 torsos.
Yeah.
Wait, is it 33? I actually have that listed right now. It's 33 torsos. I have that page open. And I know it's not always complete. Bricklink is slow to upload or update their catalog versus other, like something like Brickset. But for a lot of stuff, you can find it there. But the feature that I use the most is the wanted list on Bricklink. Whether I was buying, I always kept things on my wanted list, of course, and I would search. But if I was parting out a set or just rebuilding a set that I had built when I was a kid, I would load it in my wanted list. And as I picked through the pieces in my collection to rebuild a set, I would knock them off the wanted list and realize, okay, there's only these 3 parts that I can't find. And then I'd occasionally go and buy them. Often it was like really weird parts. Jen, that's when I'd be calling you.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Can you bring this to me at Brickcan?
I sell to like the model shop and Enfield. I sell to all kinds of designers, like, because I have some weird stuff sometimes.
So are you gonna help represent Bricklink sellers now that Lego owns it in Billund at all? Is their office for Bricklink anything to do with their Lego house at all?
Say that question again.
Or like do they have any, like, is their offices, because they own Bricklink, so they run it through their company? Is there offices in Billund that are for Bricklink?
Just in Irvine. Everything's in Irvine.
Yeah, Bricklink's offices are still in the same building in Irvine, California.
Oh, they are? Okay. So they just own them.
Like Lego has 25,000 employees in 70 or 80 countries in the world. Only 6,500 of them are in Denmark, or in Billund specifically. There's more in Copenhagen and stuff like that. But they have a lot in the United States and a lot just all over the world.
So you've obviously had extensive talks with the Lego company about moving there and working there. Do they acknowledge Bricklink? Like, to be honest, as a seller sometimes, and I assume other people can agree, we feel like we're kind of ignored, especially now that they own it, with them not either loading up sets fast enough, the tax issues we already discussed about, and there's probably many other. So I was just, out of your personal experience, if you are allowed to talk about it, were they, did they even acknowledge Bricklink?
I can talk about it if you can.
Yeah, Jen can definitely talk about it because I'm not sure if it's been acknowledged. It hasn't been taboo. I know that much. There's not a lot that I found to be taboo actually in the conversations that I've had.
Isn't it still?
I just don't know how much
if
Bricklink
you work for TLG, you can't have a Bricklink store? Is that still not the case? Even though that they
you're
own
right
it?
about that one. You can't have a store.
Yeah. I haven't. I can't sell anything that I purchased with my employee discount. I sold my Bricklink inventory just to keep it clean.
Yeah.
It went out
because it's a fire
in December.
To even be suspected, so you don't want to go there.
Bingo.
But if you're okay, like, I'd like to reflect a little bit on that because I have some intel.
Go ahead.
I think it was back in 2009 or 10. I was actually hired to work for corporate, and ultimately that didn't work out, so I'm still a free agent.
So that's the Lego company you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay.
And at that time, they wanted to know more about Bricklink. Like, that was like a pretty big, thing. And I had campaigned with them to allow Bricklink as part of the AFOL community, which we really weren't. We were kind of tit at the end of the community at that point in time, still kind of are. I had campaigned with them to let us have an ambassador, like to have representation, because they were kind of ramping up the ambassador program. So I think I served a couple of terms doing that at the beginning. But at that time, I also like wrote a big paper on what Bricklink was all about and who Bricklink sellers were and who Bricklink buyers were and why they shouldn't like keep ignoring us. And that, of course, went to the community team, which is the team that I was involved with. And I think, yeah, I might be to blame for some of the experiences since then. I don't know. But at that time, honest to God, we were not liked at all. Like I remember doing like a reality show like you did, Dave, and like being like, I can't do this because I will show that I'm selling their product and they don't like us doing this. Like I'm not like a builder collector like you want. And they're like, yes, but your personality. And so I ended up doing it, but I remember being so conflicted about that. Like they're gonna see and I'm gonna get in trouble, because they really did not like the secondary market at all.
So do you think that's why that's why Lego Company has pushed the bricks and pieces more, is to phase out Bricklink? Or do you feel it's kind
of course, because they wanted to learn how the hell we do it,
Well, it's ramped up in the past, I would say year to year.
Yes.
That, the data. That's why they bought Bricklink, to see what sells.
Yeah.
That's
the data,
that's the full reason.
But do you think it will phase it out?
Company, and I really
can't
think
compete.
they're very predatory now. So sorry.
You think
It'll be a while if it happens. Like this is me as a Bricklink user talking. Bricks and Pieces still doesn't compare.
No.
Like,
But
it's a
it made a dent in sales. I can absolutely say that.
It's cool to get new parts, and a decent quantity of new quality parts.
Mhm.
If I'm buying white brick, I buy it from Bricks and Pieces.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I like the user interface on and maybe it's because I'm old school. I don't like the user interface on Bricks and Pieces. I like Bricklink's 1990 aesthetic.
Yeah.
The user face on Bricks and Pieces is terrible. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Honestly,
have you ever used it?
David, spend half an hour on BrickOwl,
Sorry.
and that's how it should have been done.
Yeah, I avoid it like hell.
Yeah.
Like I do it when I got to do it, but otherwise than that, like I wanted some of the new castle stuff that when they came out, like the torsos for the Lion Knights and the saddles for the horse. So I picked that up, but that's about it. Like it's when I want very specific stuff. That's about it.
Well, you can't doubt that Bricklink and the fact that Lego owns them has had an impact on Bricks and Pieces, because, well, first of all, they had that sort of thing years ago, and they killed it because they couldn't make it profitable. They had like ladies in villain doing it, and they hated it. They hated it. But the other thing is like the cash grab on Bricks and Pieces, like they're like making some parts like super expensive, and that is not accidental. That's because they're starting to get educated about the secondary market in a way they never were before. So, yeah.
So this is a personal, well, not personal, but a question for you, Dave. Do you get offended, or can you not discuss, or does it bother you when leaks get out? Because recently a massive amount of leaks got out about some very, very massive sets. And personally for me, I don't watch leaks, because to me, what if they just decide not to? Because you never know. So as now a part of the Lego company, will be a part of the Lego company soon, do you find that a issue, or do you think whatever, if it happens, that type of thing?
I've always, I've never really liked leaks on a large scale, mostly because I find that they inform clone companies to make inferior products of the same thing quickly. So if we see a leak of something that's not going to be out for 3 months, you'll see it coming out of Lepin or whatever Lepin is evolved into nowadays. You'll see it coming out in 6 weeks instead there. And so I don't like them for that reason. As I've been pursuing employment with Lego as a designer, I've become less and less of a fan of leaks because I do not look forward to seeing preliminary images of something I designed leaked.
No, it's kind of like a copyright / it's your baby, right? Something you developed.
Yeah.
And I get that. I said, I don't watch leaks because I find them to be useless in a sense.
Like, I don't show people pictures of my mocks when they're in development. Like when I'm in the design process of a mock, I don't show it until it's finished.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't want criticism on it. It's not right. And again, like, yeah, it's a baby. It's not fully cooked, right? Like, that's a weird thing to say.
It's true though.
It's not ready yet. Yeah.
So
I don't have the money to spend vicariously on things. So like for me, it's just like looking at leaks just makes me want to buy shit that I shouldn't.
So Chris, who was on the panel before but had internet issues, he asked a question about the bricks and mini pieces or bricks and pieces. He said, do the gift with purchase sets, do those get on bricks and pieces, as in some of the maybe specific figure parts? I have never seen them. I don't know. He was asking about Lars Homestead one or Aunt Brew from Lars Homestead. Has anyone seen?
I would doubt that Aunt Brew would be on there just because licensed elements aren't supposed to be on there.
Oh,
so
okay.
I wanted to say something about licensed elements. An interesting thing that you might find when you're in the company there is that they don't actually license every part of a minifigure. So if they're going to have a licensed figure, it's usually just one part that's licensed.
Yep.
So you can find the non-licensed parts either used in other things or listed on bricks and pieces.
Well, like an interesting thing right now that I just saw somebody point this out yesterday is that battle droid torsos are on bricks and pieces. Torsos and arms of battle droids on bricks and pieces. The legs and the head are not.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to resell or get cheap battle droids, go on Bricklink and buy heads and legs.
Yeah.
And then buy the arms and torsos off bricks and pieces.
So I can understand that because those get used in other sets where like the head and the legs and the heads and the legs don't. So there isn't a licensing issue on that. I understand that one for sure. So
that's exactly what Jen's talking about.
More money to license everything
for years,
too,
that torso was only used on battle droids for probably 10 years because that hasn't changed greatly in 24 years. And so now you see it existing in other themes and other sets and whatever, and so it's clear that one isn't a exclusive Star Wars license.
Mm-hmm. So you'll mainly see like the themes, like either castle or if they say bring back space or pirates, you could see those on the bricks and pieces for the minifigure accessories, especially.
It seems inconsistent though. Like for some characters you can, or some figs you can, and others you don't.
I wonder if it isn't also a production thing too. How much stock they have.
Well, in the way back days when collectible figures came out, they said they were never putting them on bricks and pieces because they were done in Hong Kong and they just didn't have access to that inventory for bricks and pieces. So who knows if that's true.
Some of those, even when they said they weren't going to be on bricks and pieces, some of the elements did.
Yeah.
They're impossible to find.
They repeat on other things. Who knows?
Exactly. No, there's definitely been some that appeared on bricks and pieces before they were in, or when they weren't in anything else.
Oh, wow.
It was just like, why is this here? And they were
because they made a boo-boo and made 10 times too many. I don't know.
That's it. I always thought that.
Yeah.
When you see
that's
things,
what bricks and pieces is supposed to be, is clearing out the shit.
When you see like horse helmets for a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, it's a horse helmet.
Or the pearl gold stuff that came out that was all like
that. Yeah.
That was awesome.
I just found a moving box full of that drum lacquered gold that was a penny each. And it's like freezer bags full of this shit that I bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of. It's like, what the hell am I getting? I'm going to bring this back to Denmark with me.
So another question I want to ask you is, again, from the eyes of a seller, when you go to a Bricklink store, what are some of the main things that you look for in a Bricklink store? Now, I know like Vincent and I are quite small stores. We're actually very similar in sales-wise, but size, we're a little different. And Tyson and Jen are more full-time, but I assume some of the people watching are either people considering starting stores or people who have younger stores. So I wanted to see, like, what would you suggest as a way to maybe entice buyers to come more?
It's funny, when I started buying on Bricklink, I would, I'd go looking for one thing, and then I'd go through an entire store looking for other stuff to add to my cart to make it seem a worthwhile purchase, right? If I was paying whatever dollar for shipping, I want to maximize the stuff that I'm getting. on that shipment. Nowadays, I've got such a weird wanted list of like promotional items or advertising items that aren't even like bricks, or just new minifigs, that I'll go through my wanted list and look for stuff on my wanted list, and then try and fill up a cart. But it's where everyone can like fulfill the most of my wanted list and have a decent shipping price. I know there's not really anything that sellers can do on shipping, but I'm always looking for that like the total dollar when I'm running my cart through the checkout. So if there's advice for sellers, it's to not have hidden fees, not have any added fees. You guys already talked about this.
Yep.
Make the pricing be as transparent as possible right from the get-go. I don't even fully know how to make Bricklink's shipping calculator work. That's one of the reasons I went with all free shipping when I had my store. I know, Jen, you had like a flat rate at some point. You might still.
I
I
still
don't know.
have flat rates. I can't deal with this fluctuating thing. So
'Cause
we
we're
both
old.
have a policy that we'll just refund if you've overpaid. So everyone
right.
went
And, like,
gets a few bucks
Because
back.
shipping on Bricklink a decade ago was so simple, and now there's all these like different ways you can do it that for I think older sellers is just too complicated.
For like 15 years, I was free shipping on everything. Me and Missing Brick in the US were like the free shipping stores. And hardly any Canadians bought from me. It was all like international. Now there's
Jen,
no
Jen, you use instant checkout then, I assume, right?
Yeah,
Same with you,
because it
Tyson?
made a difference
Yeah.
in sales.
And
Like
Vince,
anyone
what do you
who's
do?
on the fence,
Manual invoice.
checkout.
I'm all invoice as well. I don't touch instant checkout.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
make more money if you.
I like my hands to be in it
Invoices.
just to make sure.
So invoices, because I'm old school, invoice is something that I'm used to on Bricklink.
Yeah.
It's a turn off now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
As much as possible, I try and do instant checkout. If it's not instant checkout, often I will just abandon the cart. I probably have 500 abandoned carts on Bricklink right now because I look a lot before I actually buy stuff.
I might be
I
one of
always
them.
get carts full.
So I had this
I,
issue yesterday with me as I was trying to buy 2 poly bags off of someone. The instant checkout said shipping was whatever. And so I messaged him. I said, hey, is this the actual shipping? And it wasn't. So for instant checkout that I was worried about was, okay, I'm going to pay this instant checkout. He's going to come back and say, you owe me another $15 because shipping was this much.
That makes me
There's
sad.
like the option, right? Like I have a hold, I'm still shopping, kind of I'll invoice you later kind of situation. So you don't have to force instant checkout.
Yeah, that's true. I have some carts now that are in Germany just because I buy a lot from Germany and Hungary. And I'm just waiting until I have a bill and address for the shipping to come down from like 25 or 30 euro to come down to like maybe 9 or 10 euro. These are 10,000 part orders.
We'll have to find these stores to scoop them all from you, I guess.
Yeah. It's just
You didn't
old
like
stuff that I
that.
can't get anymore.
You didn't like that one. Sorry, my bad. So do you generally go for new or used parts when you buy from a store?
I'm largely indifferent.
Okay.
If it's white, it'll either be new or bricks and pieces. But as long as something isn't damaged, I don't care about if it's used or new.
And is feedback a big indicator?
Not the biggest. I had one situation many years ago where there's a store that had something that I wanted. It was the only place I could find it reasonably, and the store had zero feedback because they had just started. And I reached out and talked to the guy. See, he seemed legit, and then that was fine. But like I've dealt with stores that had tons of negative feedback, just because it happens after you have thousands and thousands of orders. You're going to have some negative feedback, and that percentage. I hate the percentage system where like you get a neutral and it knocks the feedback down. And you can't get back to 100. So if you have 30,000 orders,
Yeah, same
and a
one
negative,
neutral.
Yeah. I cried when I
right?
got that neutral. I was like, no, oh, what the?
Yep. Yeah, me too. I
The
have one
first
neutral on my
stinks
store.
so
and
bad.
Oh,
right?
I haven't looked in a long time. Now you guys are making me want to look.
you're gonna hurt your feelings
It
again.
doesn't
Don't do
matter,
that,
Jen.
I had
Yeah.
15 neutrals and 8 complaints.
Oh wow.
That's his bad,
complaints?
you guys.
But
Out of
who cares?
like
Just how many
8,000.
positives did you have? Jen,
I
how
don't
many
know.
positives did you have? 30,000?
8,134. I don't have that many actually. I should have a lot more for the
Nothing.
long length of time I've been doing
It's
this.
because every buyer is scared to actually make a complaint, because then they just get bad feedback put on them. And really, how many times do you buy? Way less than you sell. So one complaint on a buy is way worse than a complaint on a sell. But yet sellers hold their feedback ransom. And it's just
I don't
so
know.
sad.
Like, I just am too lazy to do it. Like,
No, that is
I
something that
never-
does
I gotta-
happen. 100%. I agree with that.
Once your
But
money's
I'll tell you,
received,
most
that's
of
all
the
that you should be worried about as a seller.
Yeah,
Like,
all
exactly.
the
The
negative
buyer's
news-
supposed to pay. That's it.
Yeah,
After
exactly.
that,
I
As soon as
disagree
I
about
get
that
my
Your
money.
problem.
I never held feedback ransom, but I always wanted the transaction to be complete. I want the
Yeah.
customer to be happy. If
That-
I've screwed something up, I want the chance to fix it and them to be happy before I leave my feedback on the situation. And I think I'm in the minority on that one, because what Vincent and Tyson, what you guys are saying, that tends to be the trend with everyone that I see nowadays is when you get the money, give the feedback. I always wait for the transaction to be complete. I want to know that
Actually,
they're
I'm
happy and
seeing a
everything's
lot
done.
of the opposite.
I do the same that you do, David, as well.
Yeah.
I like to
I'm
know
seeing a
if
lot more
something
people
is
not do the feedback.
good or bad. And
Yeah.
I find that it can be constructive to where you can either improve as a store or not. But if you want to keep selling and be an improved store, having that feedback to me is virtually gold. Like it is much needed, especially being a newer store.
I have to say though, like my feedback, I'm looking at the last neutral or whatever bad feedback that I took was like a year ago. And I'm reading these. None of these were really valid reasons to have a neutral. Like, you chose not to have tracking, dude. So you can't complain. Like
That's the issue with.
And we refunded you. So but I have to say, having a standalone website as I do now, and doing zero social media for it and zero anything. Like I think I have my "Hey, we're live" banner up from March of last year, and nothing's changed. We get sales all the time on that thing. And we don't have feedback ratings on that. So it's like a total like, who the hell are you kind of situation. And people buy anyway. So I don't think it's that important. But yet, if I'm looking at somebody's feedback and they have neutrals or complaints, I'm definitely clicking through to see those. And it's like, they really shouldn't matter. But I don't know.
Jen, like the ones that you're getting, most neutrals and negatives that I've clicked through, they've been not legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
It's like,
Although
okay,
it tells
then
you.
just leave it as neutral.
Mm.
They
It
don't
does
realize
tell you if
the.
a store is good or not.
Yeah,
Like, if
Some
you
people-
see 25 negatives within the last year,
definitely.
no, you
Absolutely.
shouldn't trust them for.
Every case is different, but the thing is, like, that bugs me again about the neutrals is that it negatively affects you. A
Yeah.
neutral should be nothing.
Should be neutral.
Absolutely.
And so, like, it's if I really messed up and you want to complain, I have to learn to accept that. But if I
Yet another
You didn't
way
mess up.
where BrickOwl's better. There's only positive and only negative, no neutral.
No neutral. Yeah, what is the point of neutral? Seriously. But mind you, probably those 15 neutrals for me would end up being 15 negatives, and I don't need that stuff either. So,
Chris is here said in the chat that, and you put on the screen that he waits like Jordan and I. He's someone, I expected him to give me a negative. I feel like it was this year or last year. I sent him a fig that was like faded and cracked and bite marks on it, and I don't know how I missed it.
naughty.
Chris, that was you, right? And
he's in
messaged you about
Tisdale,
it.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. He's like, I
I
don't even want
made
a
my
refund.
best
I
friend.
gave it to him.
I made my best friend in this whole life by them having made a mistake on my Bricklink order, like a catastrophic mistake, like that mistake where you put the wrong shipping label on the wrong box and swap it. So some dude in South Africa got this kick-ass order, and I got like $15 worth of shit. And I thought it was kind of funny, and I felt really good because I'm like, oh, some other people make mistakes too, and this seller really knows what she's doing. But we are best friends and have been since that whole debacle. So
That was always my fear when I had to go out and ship like five orders. I was like double checking all the time. I'd write the name, the first name on the box, and have it open, checking against okay, this is definitely okay, I got Tyson's order right here. Okay, I got Jen's order right here. I'm not slipping the wrong label and the wrong one because oh my god. I did it once. I shipped the wrong version of Star Wars figs.
Yeah.
Like the Clone Wars version versus the Attack of the Clones version. and
Hmm.
one went to Maple Ridge, and one went to Burnaby. And so luckily they
Oh,
were
those are so
within
close!
my metro.
Oh my
I
goodness.
drove out to the folks and exchanged the
Totally.
right figs from them.
That's very nice.
Customer service.
Basically the
A+.
neighbor.
So I
That's
know
collectible.
that the panel did not expect you to come on, and it was a surprise. The only person who knew was me and Rick. So I thought we'd go around and ask the panel if they have any questions. So I feel bad because Vincent hasn't really been saying a ton. So Vincent, I thought you'd go first. If you have any questions or if you have any remarks you want to say about any of the stuff we've been discussing.
I'm just curious how you come up with a job interview for Lego. It just seems so crazy to me.
It is crazy. It seems crazy to me as well. A number of things happened from like late 2021 through middle of 2022, where I just saw a bunch of stuff happening of friends that I knew were getting design jobs, and I was looking at real estate in Denmark and the school system in Denmark and all these kind of things. And I was like, oh, I always kind of thought it was a pipe dream, but maybe I should actually like think about doing this as a career. And then being on Lego Masters was kind of the final kick in the butt. After we finished filming the finale, both Amy and Jamie both pulled me aside and told me I should apply, because we've been talking about it on stage when the cameras weren't rolling, because like Boone Langston announced that he got the job. And Amy and Jamie were saying like, oh yeah, like lots of Lego Masters should apply because we have two from the States now. We have a couple from England and Australia and Germany. And so any of you should apply. And they said that to the group I feel like it was after the pirate ship episode. And then they both pulled me aside and we were all like popping champagne and pulling confetti out of our hair and everything. And they said, yeah, you should really apply. And so I came home from filming and applied the first time. And the job, my portfolio was garbage. I didn't have enough time to make a good portfolio. And the job wasn't the exact right job title. I got a quick rejection on that one. And then I applied again at the end of the summer. I applied twice because they were just changing their HR system. And I got, it was really funny. On Sunday, I got a rejection. And then on Monday, they called me. It was like 6 a.m. here. I'm waiting for the bus and I get this call from Europe. Yeah, we'd like you to come to Denmark for an interview. And it's like, not to go to work. My boring job in Canada.
Yeah.
That I all of a sudden do not care about anymore.
Yes. Tyson, you got any questions?
I don't think so. I just I had a giveaway. If anybody in the chat is interested in parcel shipping, if you're willing to pick up from a Chit Chat's location. So Chit Chat's has a Chit Chat branch to branch service, which is like $6 to $8. So if you're not doing that and you have a Chit Chat's, I think that's incredible, because $8 across the country compared to 20 is a significant savings. So if there's something in my store that you want that's oversized, even if it's only one piece, I will give away 5 of those. So if there's anybody in the chat that wants that,
make sure they include
Hit me
that
up.
also in the order, right?
Yeah, just send me a message and then we'll work out the details.
Okay. And Vincent, I believe you had something on too.
Yeah, I'm offering free letter mail to anyone saying that they watched the stream.
Okay. And then Jen, you have a little sale going on as well.
I do. I have minifigures on for sale. They're mostly 25% off. But I also would encourage anyone who likes this kind of conversation thing, but maybe wants to talk to other people instead of watching other people talk, to join a Sort Lug call on Friday nights. So I hope I can make a plug for that. Dave's done it. So
Jen was a founder.
What's that?
Jen, I'm a founding member.
Yeah.
Like you,
Sort Lug
obviously.
is awesome. People should never sort alone. You got to sort with friends. So
And Jen, do you have any questions for Dave at all? I know you guys know each other, so you probably ask him it regardless.
I
But
do
you're
have
on
a
the hot
question for
seat.
Dave. I do have a question for Dave that I had asked him when I was at BrickCon, but I don't think he'll tell me on camera. So, yeah, because I never figured it out. The thing I asked you about,
What was who?
I never figured it out. And you're like, wait till they get voted off. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you remember the question?
Jen wanted to know who was the person, which team or which person did we not like?
you.
on Lego
So you
Masters.
do remember. It was right at the beginning of Lego Masters, and like, you guys are too happy. Like, there had to be someone you didn't like. Tell me the truth. Actually, I asked Emily, and she got weirded out. She's like, "Who's this person?" So yeah.
Well, Emily, my sister doesn't know you, okay?
What?
My sister doesn't know you. She's
I
weird,
know,
whatever.
Yeah, I didn't have you.
She's
to, like,
she's
say,
on a plane to Jamaica right now. My sister's on a plane to Jamaica with Stephen Yo, his wife, and one other contestant. There's a bunch of them going to Jamaica right now, and it's like, forget you guys. So okay, here's some hints. Okay, for the most part, all the contestants on Lego Masters, including Ethan and Dom, who came in late, we all love each other. We're a big, happy family. There's one team that we got along with less well. They are nice people. And we could get along in the moment very well. But I think they have some extreme political views that a lot of us that rubbed us all the wrong way, and we're a bit awkward at times. Jen, the clue that I did give you is when they get eliminated, so you know they're not a finalist.
Right.
That
that was a major spoiler.
Yeah, and however it was, I used a male pronoun when we were talking back at BrickCon.
I think it was guys. Yeah.
You know, it's a guy, which doesn't really knock out that.
Was it just one person, or was it the team? One person. Was it one person or the team?
You know, yeah, something like that.
So I have one question, and you can answer this however you want. Were you starstruck by any of the, celebrities you met, or the host, or any of the other builders, or meeting any other Lego Masters being in that?
They're just people.
Nope.
No, really?
They're just people. They're just people. All people are just people. It's especially the case with Lego people. And I don't mean minifigs. I mean AFOLs. The first time I went to a Lego convention, it was like, oh my god, that person built that, and that person built that, and I know all these people through like their awesome work, like their mocks they've created. But what I quickly learned is that AFOLs are just people, and like we all have shared hobby and passion, and it's like we just love geeking out with each other. Amy and Jamie, I wasn't starstruck by them, but because of their position as judges, they were pretty arm's length. We didn't see them backstage or off the stage ever, and they had to keep it professional. There was a couple of times when there's wandering around looking at our builds that I tried to engage and didn't really get anything. However, when I was in Billund interviewing and I ran into them in a pub, it was like we were best friends.
Yeah, they're really sweet.
And Jamie even complained about Lego making too many cool sets that he had to buy. And it's like, you're just like us.
Yeah. Well, he was recruited at a fan event. So by Cal. So yeah, he's just one of us.
And that's one thing that I wanted to, I touched about earlier, is that the community, sometimes you obviously have some bad apples here and there, but the community as a whole is very good, I find. As some content creators, as some sellers, some buyers, some mock builders, some everything. And that's one thing that I joined. My first set I started building was Poe's X-Wing with my son. And then I just fell in love with it. And then I guess I didn't say why I started Bricklink, but I started Bricklink to help fund my collection. And then now it's become more of a business, and I now have conflicting of selling my collection. But that's the one thing that, I'm happy that we're all able to get together to talk. And as you said, geek out about something we love. And it's always harder to explain to non-Lego people, but we get each other in a sense that way.
Totally.
Absolutely.
But I know
everyone who sells on Bricklink should at least go to one fan event to see it. I think, Ken, you asked if we were vending at Bits this summer. That's the plan if I can afford it. It's not cheap to get out there. So anyone in the East, there's a really great convention called Bricks in the Six. You can stop by.
I know we're just past the 2-hour mark, and Rick probably has to go to sleep because he's an old man. So I just I had to get my shot in there. I first of all want to thank you guys for coming on. It is, the communication we had going leading up to this. Great. And David, thank you so much for coming on. You're kind of a last minute Hail Mary for me. Want to throw a little spice in this one since it's my first time being the
Because we're not spicy.
Master of Ceremonies. No, you know what I mean.
Always degrading us.
He
Jordan.
just doesn't
Come
know.
on.
You know what?
He
No,
doesn't know.
credit.
like you talk about the special guest thing the entire stream here, and like I want to emphasize this: I'm not special.
Dave.
Okay, sorry. You're special because no one knew. You're special because no one knew you were coming on, other than Rick and I.
Sure, it's a surprise. It's a surprise. But
Exactly.
like any AFOL could do Lego Masters. Everyone should try and get on there if you want to. If you don't have any shame, I think every AFOL should have a Bricklink store. I feel like that's why the platform was designed, is so that fans could buy and sell from each other, and then stores were just a beautiful afterthought that developed out of it. Is people having like actual stores that they ran as a business. But everyone should have a hobby Bricklink store. And you know, none of us are like, it's a weird thing to say, but none of us are special. We're all equal here. Fans of Lego, like again, it's the same thing that brings us all joy.
And size of store is irrelevant.
No, and I agree with that 100%. And again, like the reason I was very excited that you were joining us, and the reason I invited you in the first place is because, you know, sometimes people need to see that things are obtainable, even just being a normal person. And you know,
true.
and that's the thing. Like it's personally, I am not a designer. I don't build mocks. I don't do any of that. So I will never get into that realm. But someone who, you know, could be watching this, or even, you know, to not sound cheesy, even the kids, like my daughter who's 6, she watches Lego Masters with me, the previous seasons and the current one, and she loves seeing what they build as well as do I. Because once you hold all these elements in your hand, you're like, how does this go with this? And that is 100% why I find, you know, Bricklink great, and I find the community great, and Rick graciously giving us this platform to talk about something, again, we all love.
Well, I would like to say I'd like to
Absolutely.
thank all of you. This was, of course, a great opportunity to get you all back together again, and to step back a bit, let someone else run. And Jordan, dude, I'll probably never have to do this again. I mean, it's your show. And
Nice little
I'm
thing
getting
for
nothing
it,
but
probably.
good feedback. So this is awesome. We'll do more of these. We'll even have other people be the Master of Ceremonies. David, it was a pleasure to have you back here. You're my second Lego Master to appear twice. You're up against Moto, so you're going to have to come back for a third time because you don't want to be second to Moto.
He's not Canadian.
You know what,
Pick everybody. We
Rick?
love Lego.
I'll come back sometime in the middle of the night in Denmark.
Woohoo!
Oh, hey, there you go.
We'll
When he's
join
building
you
Lego.
sometime from Billund.
When
After
Rick's
your
building
first set,
Mega,
you
though,
can do the reveal here. Do it. Do the reveal here.
If I'm
Fired
allowed.
for
I would
releasing
love
something
that.
before.
Yeah. Get fired for that one.
Why not?
I am not going to do anything to jeopardize that because
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Denmark is the dream.
So I thought we'd just go to the other stores, just say your Bricklink name, where you can find them, and if you guys have any socials or anything like that. Vincent, how about you?
I don't have any socials, so just Brickabek on Bricklink, I guess.
Awesome. Tyson?
Leopard 37 on Bricklink, BrickOwl, and I've got a Square site too.
Jen?
I am thebrickchick.com, and on Bricklink, I don't know, the Brick Chick, I think. I have weird names everywhere, but they're Brick and they're Chick. So
And Dave, are you doing any plan like vlogging, showing your experience going to Binland, anything like that?
On Instagram, I'm at Brick Lettuce, like the leafy vegetable and the Lego brick lettuce. I've got right there on there now is a lot of stuff about the show. But once we start moving, it'll be a lot of our experience moving and exploring Billund and exploring Denmark. And who knows, maybe some Lego content. Who knows?
maybe.
That's awesome. I'm actually
Maybe.
very excited to see that myself. So,
Me too.
and I'm Jordan 306 Bricks on Bricklink as well. I have a Facebook page as well. It's nothing like Rick's, but I sometimes post on there. So maybe BrickOwl someday if Tyson can teach me how to use it.
Right. Tyson can teach a few things.
Absolutely.
Sure, why not?
And Rick, you going to close it?
Yeah. Again, I'd like to thank everybody. I did want to ask Jordan, did you have anything else for the draw? 'Cause I do have one from James Peter, Newfie Bricks. He wanted to put something up on the wheel.
I don't know if you want. I could do another figure if the people want it.
You got one more going?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sure. Why not?
All right.
Another
So
Series 23.
All right, everyone. So this is our final list. First name that pops up gets Jordan's newest offering. And here we go.
Old lady.
Old Lady Bricks. There we go.
Awesome. So reach out to Jordan via Facebook. That's the best way to do it. You can claim your prize. And give me one moment here. Just so it's nice and official. So, James Peter, Newfie Bricks, he's donating a single $10 off coupon during this live stream. So this is what we're going to raffle off here.
He's not even on, and he's giving stuff away. He's always making us look bad.
Oh yeah, no, he's doing self promotion. He knows what he's doing.
He's good. I won once of them.
All right, F Lord, reach out to James Peter in our Facebook group, and you can claim your prize.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone. This has been an awesome experience. I don't know if Jordan will accept the mantle to come back on again and do this. He did an awesome job. And if not, I know there's been some interest in having a French-only stream.
Well,
I'm actually determined to push for it because when I started
All the
the Facebook
Anglophones that
group,
can't speak
I made
French
an
or say
effort
we should.
to really encourage our French counterparts. And I've actually kind of dropped the ball in the last few months. So I actually want to see if I can get a French host. But again, thank you, everyone. This has been a great experience and a lot of good questions, great answers. A lot of people learn stuff. I've been getting feedback the whole time. That's why I went off screen, because I've just been typing. This is great. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Anytime.
All right, let's shut it down. Everyone, peace. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy trails, Dave.
Thank you. See y'all later.